Are there aliens in the Hoover Dam? No.
Yes.
No, there's not. But the weirdo people in Nevada that are living near Hoover Dam are like, I lost my wallet at a bar and I never got it. It must be the aliens that live in Hoover Dam. And it's like, if you tell enough people about the aliens in Hoover Dam, then people are going to be like, whoa, did you hear the story about the in Hoover Dam? And it's like, the people that are saying that aren't smart. They're just saying stuff long enough and getting a little bit more influence, and then people start believing that.
All right.
So now instead of Hoover Dam in Nevada, we have the best Stromi player in the Great Lakes area, or whatever it is. So if the best Stromi player says something in the Great Lakes area of, no, I promise you, you put smashing good time in, and you're going to crush everyone. Or knick-knack, brick-a-brack, whatever that disaster was. I know he's not in the Great Lakes area and he doesn't play Dromai. I don't even know that dude's name. But it is kind of like, no one is influential enough in this community to make the card market go buy cards. And if you are, go do something else in Flesh and Blood. Go be influential and run for Congress. Why would you use your influence to make a Majestic from Arcane Rising rise up by $4?
For money.
Make money at poker. Like, this is a hobby. There's no psyops. Psyops is like, dude, I
honestly, think there's another term for when you do it for cards and their value. That's called market manipulation.
Speculation.
Which is also just unethical and morally bankrupt.
Right. And
but
it's
psyops,
allowed at Mall Street.
When you tell, well, yeah, I mean, this is late stage capitalism we're in, so get used to it.
Yeah.
Singularity comes and saves us from ourselves. But
and one thing that's honest is like, is there anybody who's sitting here in rural South Carolina who's like, I always pick on South Carolina, but like, does the person in South Carolina have by far the tier 0 deck of, you know what? It actually is. It's tier 0 Bolton. Here's what's new in it. Boom, 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 boom. We're not gonna hear about it. We're not going to hear about it. They're literally going to show up that day. Nobody knew what Kano was last year for New Jersey. Somebody showed up, blew people up. That's what's going to happen again. There's no psyops of you got to be running Fog Down for the Bolton deck from South Carolina. It's just going to happen to you. So there's no point in paying attention of, I need to go to every single podcast and pay for every single Patreon because maybe I'm missing something, and that's why I'm going to lose Baltimore. You're going to lose Baltimore because you didn't practice enough, and you didn't draft well, and you're going to lose because you're really good in your own meta, but you've been using Talishar to practice, not other real people. And you don't have a game plan for Azalea. There's so many things wrong with your deck. Why do you think you're going to win Baltimore? Why are you even flying there? It's to have fun. It's a hobby.
That's right. And this itself was a psyops. So
because
wrap your head
I actually like psyops, bro. It's Barraging Blake approved. Dude, was I psyops that whole time? Okay,
am I psyops? Is this psyops?
Is this psyops?
All right, so here we go. Let's go.
Who took that photo? That's pretty good.
Blake was right. Blake won another skirmish.
What the heck is this? Is that
Blake is
being Pontius Pilate with Icelander's face on it?
Oh, I believe that is Atlas holding up the world.
Jesus,
and that is Icelander.
Oh, Icelander's holding me up.
Thank
God we explained that for me and the audience all in one.
Not to undermine. I mean, if you're not versed in classical art.
Let's go previous picture if we can. I like that one a little better. We'll address this stuff that is visible in the... Okay, we can't go to the previous picture the man in the sky is telling me. So, we can.
There you go.
So we got our perfect Reinar sign mat from Singapore for good luck.
Nice.
I showed up that day. Last year I won a skirmish. I feel like everyone knows that. Blake won one.
That's right.
One.
We were tied.
I got the Spring Tidings mat. It was Icelander before she had ice cards. Like, wow, this is really good Arcane from Arsenal. And we didn't even have Waning Moon yet. We're just going to Stir the Aether Winds and then Spark Lightning 14. And then it was like dead. So this is Evan, the guy who lost in the finals.
Yeah, he's right there. He's in both these pictures.
He's also the guy that was talking about 9 codex or whatever. So anyway, now it's Bullander, and I hated Bullander. Why did I hate Bullander? Because I love Arcane only Icelander. And now it's time for
Purist.
Blitz season again. And I'm like, what am I going to do to beat those wizards? I wanted to play Reinhardt because obviously Reinhardt's first love. But it was like, everyone was like, nobody's going to be playing wizards. What are you talking about? And I was like, if y'all think that, I play wizard. And then on the Saturday before the Sunday, my skirmish was on Easter, which is why I thought this was Jesus. It was a list that was posted on Twitter, and I was like, that person won with that list. I could win with that list.
There you go.
And it was like riding a bike that I had been used to for years, and it was like everything I did with the deck last year, it got better. Waning Moon just adds 3 damage a turn. I immediately got blown up by Feiyu on Kano immediately, and I was like, Feiyu, you got to teach me this. You got to teach me this. Then I beat a Chain. I beat a Sif Bravo. The Sif Bravo was like, why are you playing Sif Bravo? I told him to play Sif Bravo. That backfired immediately when he played me. I lost to Reinar. Then I was like, Reinar, let's rematch. I lost again. I was like, bro, I don't know how I'm going to
skirmish.
because we rematched. We were just playing in between. And hi, Colin, Connor, I'm talking. You're using in the middle of the Barraging beatdown rehash. You want to say hi to Colin? Connor, you're on probation, bro.
You could have ignored
and so I basically taught Joel Joel taught me how to beat him, thinking, oh, well, we're not going to play again. I just need to certify play the other Reinar. Then we play in top 8 immediately afterwards. And I was like, Joel, it sucks to suck, dude.
You should
And
have
then
not said anything.
he goes, my health was 6 before I had my first turn.
Really?
So 18 down to 12 damage.
15.
And
no,
I'm at 18. Yeah. Icelanders
Plays that other
disadvantage. So anyway, we got through that. We got through the top 8. I beat a AB 5 dash, and then I beat Evan using the Feiyu from the first part. Every mistake I ever made, I undid the mistake. I beat the best in the field. John Zapata didn't even get top 8 in this. People that have almost won Battle Hardens didn't make top 8, but I made it to the top. And Blake, there's a lot of jig. I gotta figure this gym shit out. I made it to the top, and I get my first skirmish win of the year, April 22nd. I'll do it again. Be ready for it. It's coming. One skirmish win a year. It's one of those things that it reinvigorates your love, and then you start watching Azalea dominate arrows today, and you're like, maybe I really do got to figure out this gym shit, and I can just focus on that for a bit.
So could you say that all of your experience through the Swiss of that skirmish, you were just psyopsing all
I think that's just called learning. You know?
No.
What's the difference between experience and psyops?
Subscribe now to find out.
Yeah.
We got one more topic.
That'll be on Patreon only.
Yeah, Patreon only content. How to psyops everyone you know and be liked.
Cool. I like that.
Okay,
Oh,
yeah.
we have
so
one more?
this is some warning content.
I don't
Not
like
warning
this.
of the content, but this is,
Is this the one from earlier that I
this is a PSA
saw a little bit of?
announcement. And just so you know,
Oh, God.
whenever you see Blake, make sure you slow down while you're walking in front.
Okay, you gotta say in my ear where you saw me be the most mad about this. Every day at Odyssey. I feel like people aren't gonna be on my side on that. I gotta figure out a fake one where they'd be on my side. I think what's frustrating. Okay, so I walk in the mall a lot. So I'm walking in the mall. It's like left and right mall. You walk on the right side because you drive on the right side. So if you're ever walking on the other side and going the wrong, that's like completely different. If we're walking on the sidewalk, like walk with purpose, I think is the main thing. There's just walk slowly isn't. It is kind of like, what are we doing here? Like, I think there's a standard pace of like, this one's, I don't know. It's like, is it 3 miles per hour or whatever? But there's just a lot of people. It's not the slow walking that's the worst. It's whenever people will literally walk to the escalator and stop in front of the escalator to have a conversation with their friend, and you can't walk around them. And I literally started talking to people. That's a new tactic I've been doing of like you guys are in the way. And people are not taking it that well. And there's some people on TikTok that will do stuff like this. I don't know if you don't do TikTok, but like there's somebody that'll go, "Oh, do you know how to get to Taco Bell?" And you'll say,
Yeah, it's right over there.
"Oh, okay, take a little bit longer."
Oh, I think.
That's enough. And so I'm like, okay, I need to start using that tactic of, like, let's just, as people are in the way, let's just go like, bro, get out of here. Like, I'm trying to go quicker. I don't know. If you see Blake in person, walk slowly in front of him. I think this is just a good way to get me frustrated as soon as possible. And, oh, that's what it was. At Odyssey, I was trying to go pay. At Odyssey, and it has a choke point on both sides.
Yeah.
And so you walk down the access ramp. If you have a wheelchair, go slow. You need it. Go slow. You got this. But there's somebody who's like literally, I guess it's just like, what are you doing when you're walking slow?
Just thinking, I'm pondering about stuff.
But
You know
that's
me.
like at the park. At the park, I wouldn't be mad about that. If you're in a place where there's nothing in between you and where you're going, you're not like, oh, let me read this stuff. If you're reading, you would stop.
And honestly, they've got all that fine artwork on the wall. That
Bro, and if they were looking at any of that, that'd be fine. This is a good way to piss me off. I like walking fast. I like getting to where I need to go fast. Probably because I'm just trying to sit down and plump down again, and like, it's like probably the whole like need to get better healthy stuff of maybe I would walk slow if I wasn't dying the whole time I was walking. Maybe we're learning a lot about me right now, but
honestly, if you want to piss,
don't do
Blake
anything
off,
slow in front of me.
Just talk to him.
Because like, don't even slow play in Flesh and Blood.
That's
and,
true. That'll
And
piss
like
him off.
now, I swear to God, Tuesday Hearthstone new set came out. I was like, these cards look super cool. Normally I spend $80. This is the first time I spent $80 3 times a year for years. This is the first time a new set has dropped. I didn't spend the 80. I spent 15.
Oh.
And then I played 3 games. The slowest games of my life, Marvel Snap and Flesh and Blood, have ruined Hearthstone for me. I can't even sit there for like literally 30 seconds. Somebody, do you have your 2-drop or not? And like, don't do anything slow in front of me. The only thing that sucks is I drive slow. So I'm the problem in driving, which most people are like, they go fast when they drive, but why are you fast when I want to go slow and you're slow when I want to go fast?
These are the questions.
This is where I don't fit into society. I don't fit into society very much.
Society hasn't made room for you.
I don't fit in this shirt, baby.
Look,
just kidding. There's nothing.
I won't walk slow in front of you, Blake, okay?
And that's psyops. That's how you get people. You use reverse psychology. And so I'm going to do that with, oh, and by the way, don't use the deck that someone from Vegas made for Baltimore. That was a psyops. I do know about that. And that was a psyops to get you to walk fast in front of me.
Congratulations. You did it. That was Barraging Blake.
Round 6.
Always a pleasure. We're going to go to a short break. We're going into round 6, our final round of Swiss. Shaping up to be an interesting top 8 for sure. Thank you all for hanging with us all day, and we'll be back in a few minutes.
Long Blake to a short break.
All right, we are back. We got a few minutes between rounds here, so you know we're going to take a little second to sit back and think about some stuff. It's time to ponder with Colin, me, Colin from the Attack Action Podcast. I'm joined by
I can be with you or by
you.
you.
Can be with and by me at the
Whatever
same
you
time.
prefer.
Sam O'Byrne. You know what? This is a time for me to ask some questions that I don't have answers to, but we're just going to talk about it.
We're gonna pond.
Yeah, we're going to ponder because, you know, I've got the face that looks like I'm thinking about something when I'm really just, you know, wondering what's for dinner or how much more Kano I can fit into my schedule. So let's dive into it. I think we got a couple of topics today that I think are somewhat relevant and interesting to talk about. So yeah, we're talking about the calls for bans, and maybe when I came up with this topic, it was like, well, maybe people should stop calling for bans. But after seeing some Azalea stuff today, maybe they're right. But you know what? I don't know. Here's my thought.
Tell me.
This is what we're pondering on.
Okay.
Can we should we just cool it on this like column for bans like 2 weeks after a set comes out? We're in a new meta, and the first thing people do is see a hero do really well, and then they call to ban a bunch of cards. And my reaction is, well, why don't you just adjust how you're playing against this hero first, and then come back with a ban idea later? So I don't know. What are your thoughts?
I guess. Well, this is. I'm but the guest on your talk show here. So
I'm asking the questions. So.
Oh man. Well, can I will respond to your question with the question. What do you think constitutes a ban in Flesh and Blood? When do you look at something and you think to yourself that needs a ban?
I think when there's like a proven track record over a period of time that shows that something is like absolutely busted, or if you can point to the card directly and say why it violates the core tenets of the game.
Sure.
You know, we saw this with like Awakening. It basically encouraged you not to block and then do something completely insane that you gain nothing but value from. You know, so that was like clear, you know, sure. Duskblade. Just busted.
We didn't even get a chance on that one.
Anybody who did try to take a chance was like, yep, this is busted. So, you know, things like that make a lot of sense. Starvo probably should have been banned. I'm going to say that. That's okay. I can say whatever I want.
This is your show.
This is my show.
This is we just created this just for you to get your willies out.
You know, and I think in the past, LSS has been really great about looking at the meta and banning certain things. They suspend cards where they think they need to be suspended. They ban them outright when they think they're broken. And they've been very kind of transparent on the reasons why, and I think that's all really great. They've also been transparent on the fact that they will use this suspension and banning to manipulate the meta because they want to, you know, which you can feel about that any way you want. I just realized we got this mushroom up here that's kind of funny, but that's okay.
That's our next segment.
That's our next segment. What is this mushroom?
What is that mushroom?
But yeah, it's, so, you know, I think there are clear points where that comes into play. And I'm not against banning things. Mm-hmm. I just think when, you know, we have one big event or like two big events and one hero does really well at that event and people's immediate reaction is like, well, this is too good, this is bad. And you're just like, just let Azalea have some fun, man. She's been like just under the rock for, for a couple of years. Yep. And all the diehards who've been playing her ever since she came out finally get a chance to like have some fun. And the first thing everything people do is call for a bunch of bans. I don't even keep track of how many bans they want, but, you know, it's Codex of Frailty. It's, you know, whatever. I mean, I guess Codex is probably the only one that I would consider we might see a ban in the future. But I don't think it really needs to be worried. Like, right now, like, let it play. Like,
it seems like, from what I'm understanding, for you it's about length of time with the thing. See how the thing actually develops. If Azalea is unbeatable for 2-3 months, at that point, data is clear. But we're still in the period of time where we're gathering the data and we're seeing how the cards really play, seeing if there is counterplay to something like Azalea. Codex is hard to like play around. There are small ways you can, but in terms of just the hero itself, Lexi, Azalea, if these cards are pushing it too far over an extended period of time, that's when you'd want to see something change.
Yeah, and I think that has been the way they've done it. Mm-hmm. You know, so it just seems like the reaction people have to a hero doing well is to just call for bans.
Yep.
And I'm not into that.
Yep.
I think, you know, I'm also, you know, not someone who's chasing the meta. I don't switch up my hero to play the most important, best deck in the meta at any given point. You know, so I'm probably in the minority for a lot of people where it's just like, well, I'm going to play what I want to play, and I have to adjust that to be as good as I can into this meta. And sometimes it's not your meta to shine if you do that, and that's okay. And, you know, it can be frustrating, but I don't know. It's just, I just don't see how your first response isn't, well, how do we beat this? You know, that should be the first response, especially if you're considering yourself a competitive player. I'm calling all of y'all out. So, you know, if that is your,
where's your fire?
Yeah. Like that should be your cue to like go into the lab and deck build and try to find a counter to it. And if you can't find a counter to it, you're probably supposed to be playing that deck. So, you know, figure it out, you know, and that's easier said than done. That's why I'm not one to do it, because I'm not the...
Yeah, everybody, you deck build, not me, but you do it.
Do it for the rest of us. I mean, that's how most of this works. You know, a couple people build some decks and the rest of us just profit. So
thank you.
Yeah, thank you for your service. But at the same time, I think the the first reaction, it just seems like kind of just overblown. And I don't know. Twitter, again, also another thing, side comment, Twitter's not the place really for, coherent discussions about stuff. So
What?
I'd rather
Really?
you have those conversations, in person and, on maybe a podcast. Or a YouTube channel. So if you have a lot of opinions that you think are relevant that you need to share, it's real easy. Just go out there and just do it for the rest of your life. Spend a bunch of time and money to make that. But yeah,
Easy enough.
Easy enough.
If you have things you want to talk about, don't go on Twitter. Start a podcast. God knows we don't have enough of those in Flesh and Blood.
We don't have enough of
Podcasts.
It's like low stakes, happy, fun podcasts where we just have a good time. Everybody's so competitive.
Ugh.
But that's fine. You do your thing. I don't know. I think that's about it. I don't have much else to say. I think it's just silly that people want to ban things immediately. And if
You want to let it marinate.
if you disagree,
Start a podcast.
don't at me. Start your own podcast.
I don't want to hear about it.
All right. So next up, I think we got something else I've been thinking about. Is staying open in Outsiders draft. How much draft have you done so far?
I have done like 6 or 7 drafts.
Okay, it's pretty good. I think I'm at like 4 or 5. And I was just thinking about this, and I've heard some other people talk about it. I think the general feeling I get is a lot of people are excited about this draft format. It seems really fun and interesting. I think the gameplay is really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
There's definitely more of a mid-rangey feel, and as Isaac Jessen from the Attack Action Podcast likes to say, incremental exchanges of damage. And you block, you do a little bit of damage, you pitch stack, you do all these things that are like really good core fundamentals of
Super fun.
of Fab, which I think is great. Question being, can you actually stay open? We got a ton of generics. It's the first talentless set we've had in a while, a draftable set, and usually in that case, it means you can stay pretty open. I think the last couple metas, that has not really been the case. You've been incentivized to either go, first it was hard into Briar, and then Oldhim showed dominance, and then in Uprising, Phi, just Phi. It's like be good at the Phi mirror, and then you're good at Uprising draft. So, my question kind of is staying open real in Outsiders? One, couple factors here. One, the generics aren't equally good for all the heroes.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the heroes might kind of be a non-factor. Not making a totally bold statement, but it seems like Benji. I mean, Ninja in general seems harder to get together a really good deck that does what it wants to do, and then I am not sure about the rest, but so generics not always as good. So just taking generics to stay open doesn't quite get you the cards you need to do well in a draft. And then there's so many assassin cards because of all the hybrid cards that, it's kind of like you should probably be an assassin, it seems. So, but I don't know. What's been your experience? I feel like so far I try to stay open and I kind of just get punished because I didn't pivot into a hero much earlier in the draft.
Yeah. For me, I've had a fair amount of success not being fully open, but being open and a half, where I'm kind of between 2 heroes, often assassin and something else.
Mm-hmm.
There one draft I was over either going to be a ranger or a ninja, but because of the hybrid cards, I'll feel like I'm in between things. And I try to take a lot of generics kind of into pack too. I feel like the Ravels don't work well necessarily in something like a Benji, unless, it's just
blue
for 2.
one.
Yeah. But, I really like just like Red Seek Horizon at the end of the chain. I found looking for a scrap to just be like ridiculous. Humble. I mean, we're seeing Humble just played as a 2 for 6 in Classic Constructed out here. Yeah. So sometimes you can just throw that card down and just be like, what do you got about this? So I've definitely found it to be possible to an extent, but my last draft, I hadn't gotten to play Azuri yet. My first pack had Red Death Touch. My second pack had Red Sneak Attack. And I just said, I am forcing Azuri for the rest of this draft. Yeah. And I'm just going to hope that I get it and I don't get cut off. And I 3-0'd that one. So sometimes you just got to force, I think, to like I mean, I think that's a natural thing in draft. Like you sometimes things have to just break your way, right? And I think part of what is important is just being able to read, like, am I getting the generics I need to stay open, or like, do these cards just suck? And I kind of need to like find a lane and just maybe hope things stick with me. One of the things I think interesting about what you talked about is because there are so many assassin cards that with those hybrids, it feels like maybe a pod can support slightly more assassins than the other things. So you might, like, I feel like Arachne, you can have an okay Arachne deck and still win a draft just because there are so many good stealth cards. You can just kind of get some stuff that other people won't really care about, but, you know, 2 for Blood Rot, the yellow Blood Rot card can be okay. The yellow Inertia card can be okay in certain situations. So I don't know, but I'm certainly like, this is my first set really drafting Flesh and Blood, so I've just been loving it. Yeah, I kind of stayed away from Uprising just because no one wanted to play it. If they didn't have to.
I think that's fair, and I think this is all to say. I think this limited set is great. I'm really excited about it. I think maybe staying open in the past, like in Monarch or something, would be something you do longer, and maybe staying open now, like as you say, it's kind of open, like half open. You're trying to take generics that are good, but you're
All right, new stream, new us, same top 8 as earlier.
You're glowing in this new stream.
Thank you.
You look beautiful.
It's because I have been resting for 2 hours to put my full effort into top 8. So are other people. There's like 17 Lexis in this. Let's go find where we see top 8 somewhere. Which button is this going to be, Justin? Just so we know. Oh, first page where it says top 8.
Boom.
All right, we got Ian Smith versus Jonathan Taurus. That's the 1v8. 4 versus 5 is what we're going to watch.
It is. We got Brody Spurlock on Lexi Livewire versus the lone Oldhim in the cut.
I love that it's 4 Lexis versus 4 trusty heroes.
Anything else?
Yeah. John Abanto is going to be facing up against Majin Bey. I'm wondering if Majin can get his 3 turns to get the full combo, or you die.
Yep.
So good luck at that. And Anthony Pham versus Brandon Abarca. Those are kind of besties, best friends. Those are our 2 local people where it's like kind of sucks they're playing in round 1. And when I mean local, I mean I play against them pretty regularly. Everybody else is either traveling in or whatever. So whoever wins that 2 versus 7 is going to be putting the whole hopes and dreams
of SoCal,
Los Angeles on their back.
Look at that. Yeah, here we go. And that's
straight into the match.
This is now, after round 1, we said, all right, listen, Oldhim, they're leaving the format. We don't want to feature this hero too heavily, but here's the deal with this matchup, right? We got Brody Spurlock coming in. This is the XP McGee. This guy is everywhere. This guy is everywhere. He is just an absolute grinder and a fiend, and so friggin' good at the game, right?
And he gets to sit next to Evan.
That's so cool.
Travel the world, sit next to Evan should be the new tagline of whatchamacallit. Evan wearing Crocs today. He also opened up his judge pack and got ALS.
Cool.
So it was very cool to see that happen live. Maybe he was trying to keep it a secret, but don't open it in front of your friends. Too bad. Matthew Vore is from Arizona. You've heard of the Vore brothers.
You heard of Arizona.
Yeah. People are saying I want to see that top 8 Phi list. I think the top 8 Phi list had a disclaimer. It was like, only play Lexis in your last 2 rounds. Because I think he went solid 5 or 6-0 and then lost to a couple Lexis. But we'll see if it turns around for him in top 8.
Final round of Swiss was, in fact, Anthony against Jonathan? Brandon. And it wasn't pretty.
They're friends, so they were doing a big old song and dance of it, not probably realizing that they were going to be playing again in another hour. But it was like, don't worry, I would never, what's the arms? What is it called?
Say it again.
Bullseye bracer. I would never bullseye bracers you. I don't have a card in hand, as there was a clear, like, endless arrow hitting, and it was like, God, I hate this guy.
So now, all right, this game is about to begin. We have the lone Oldhim versus Brody Spurlock on Lexi. What I'm curious about, it looks as though because Brody was the higher seed, he's going to get to elect to go either first or second. And we saw him in Swiss, not on camera though. He took down Craig Pollock in the literal last hand of the game. I mean, there were 30 seconds left on the clock.
And Craig was like, I freaking blew it.
Yeah,
because he had the Heart of Final in his arsenal, and if he gets that out of there earlier, you can pitch to heal up and survive by 1, but it was legitimately an arrow's coming in for 7 because
got back the battering shot.
Battering bolt.
Battering bolt. +1 from the thing. I'm going to say the right card names, guys. Give me 1 second. Voltaire. And 7 is going to be too much for 6 to block, and that's how Craig died. So I think that's maybe the first time they've played for. He takes round 1, and then maybe Craig gets him back next time.
Brody electing to go first here. Looks as though he's going to load the arsenal at least once, pitching a Rain Razors right to the bottom of the deck for at the end cycles of this game, the second cycle of what hopefully is going to be enough to close the thing out through the defenses of the old him. Looks as though he is passing priority after the Voltaire. See what Matt Vore wants to do on this very first turn of the game. Last time we saw Brody on camera, he had a very interesting turn 1 that led to 8 damage, but left him without an arsenal. So it looks as though he is, this turn, rather than facing down the Voltaire potential shenanigans of the Lexi Mirror, he might just have the freedom to set up a 6-card hand.
Right. There's more discipline going to, I need to beat Oldham. I'm wondering if there's any ice cards in this list, because I think it's like, that's what you need to do against the Go Wide crew. But if you don't have ice cards in your list, maybe you're just hoping for, oh, we're blocking with our best attack?
Oh, I see. This is literally Matt's first turn. Cool.
Oh.
That's what's happening.
So he chose to go second.
Yeah.
We've been saying the wrong thing. Okay, so he saved enough to block the Command and Conquer, and he will not get punished there. Now we know what we're doing.
Yeah, I didn't see the unit go up, and then I looked over, I'm like, wait a second.
Thanks, everybody in the chat. Okay, everybody that knows Brody a little bit better than I do knows that he was going to go second, and now we have our first. We're going to shoot a bunch of arrows.
Start the turn, load up the Voltaire with a Remorseless coming in with Go again. This is going to come in for 5. No defense reaction from Arsenal this turn, but Crown of Seeds is going to be able to get that card out of there if Matt Vore elects to go for that plan.
I think it is interesting to do the, let me load up arrows on my opponent's turn 1. Only gets punished if you have a Command and Conquer. And, like, I don't know if he was like, oh, man, Battering Bolt is my favorite card against Oldham, but now there's one in the discard pile because we wanted to block to keep our extra cards going.
Blocking here with at least a Buckling Blow, then going to go ahead and Earth React to cover up the 5.
Okay, so we got Earth cards.
We got Earth cards.
We got Earth
Oh,
cards
we got
all
Earth
day. Interesting that, like, obviously Brody's pretty good at the game. XP McGee, down and dirty coming.
Saving that.
Not seen this before.
Yeah, saving that Searing Shot. Now, these down and dirties, they're mostly in the deck as poppers. You're able to block with them from your arsenal. But Brody Spurlock, I know from watching the earlier rounds versus Oldham, he's presenting, at least last time, like close to 68 cards, 65, 68 cards. So these down and dirties, they're in here to present threats, have cards in the deck so that the game that will most likely go to near fatigue or fatigue, you have a little bit more of an edge.
Most of the time I'd be like, smoke him if you got him, but I don't think we're old enough to smoke in this.
In this specific game.
Yeah.
A specific matchup for no reason at all. And keeping that Searing Shot critically in the arsenal face up, but would rather pair it with more powerful buff effects when you can just throw 6 damage out, continue your turns.
I wonder what Matthew's thinking when he sees down and dirty from a Lexi player coming at him. If that's like, oh, the Arizona Lexis do this too, or if this is I learned this on the road that I'm. It's crazy because like I think when you go to other metas, you're like, oh, I never learned that, and now I'll take that. Like, I think one of the most famous things of this is like, oh well, let me shut up when there's this power turn. Immediately Rain Razors into 3 of a kind. I think this is everyone's least favorite.
Yeah.
Combo in the game, to be honest.
At the moment, perhaps. I mean, here's the thing. Pitching the red into it means one of those 3 cards is going to be used for pitch for the rest of this turn, but it's not like you were under any pressure here if you're Brody on Lexi.
No.
Matt just passed the turn over there, so this is going to be a full grip of very powerful arrows coming in. The first one is going to be an Infecting Shot.
The best one we have.
Or 7. And we do see 2 sigils in Matt Vore's hand. 2 Sigil of Solaces. That's going to represent life gain, but there's not a lot of blocking ability with those sigils currently in the hand. So it's going to be interesting to see how Matt Vore wants to get through what is one of the most powerful turns any deck in Flesh and Blood can present right now.
I think when you're somebody playing against Alexi, you are kind of like, All right. Can I survive through Rain Razor and 3 of a kind? Yes. But I can't do it 3 turns in a row. And you don't want to get down like 20 health, because then for the rest of the game, like Lexi may be like, I don't care. Spinal crush me and I'll just hit you with down and dirty. That feels like the worst possible thing that could happen. And like, I don't know what I'm saying, but it is kind of like, this feels so bad. Of like, why is this already happening in turn 1? I was hoping to get a little bit of a window before this happened instead of, it's not turn 1, but it's like literal turn 2.
Yep. So that damage is going to be blocked out with the Oasis Respite and the block moving after there. We have the Endless Arrow coming in. This is going to be the second Full Terra activation coming in 4/6 with Go Again.
Because I feel like everybody watching at home has lost to the ability of, oh, my Endless Arrow comes back to my hand. I'm going to give it Snapdragons to make it go again. Then I'm going to use my arms. And then this innocuous card of like, oh, it's just a 0 for 4 turns into 4 or 5 instances of 0 for 6. And it's like, I thought I was playing a defensive character. And like, nobody can deal with 4 0 for 6 arrows coming at them.
And, you know, you talked about going down like a huge life deficit, 20, 30 life against this Lexi player. When you do that, it's sometimes, you know, we saw Pablo Pintor do that on stream in the calling that he ended up winning to eventually push old him into the Living Legend status, where he just, he had to completely block out from that point forward. His only out was the fatigue, and he managed to navigate it from that incredibly low life deficit. So we'll see how the rest of this turn shapes up, and we're getting some armor equipment block right away, as again, this is just kind of how this turn has to be.
God bless Pablo Pintor for LSSing. What is it? LSSing or
Yeah, I like,
LLing?
I like that too, LSSing.
Yeah. Legend the story and get this out of here, please.
So now, interesting, this was a big turn. We did leak, 7 damage, and we have also established an arsenal. However, those type of turns, sometimes these Lexis, they want to see them later in the game. They want to see them when they've already gotten their opponent down a little more. They have a little more agency on that kind of the front foot, so to speak. But at this point in the game, you have managed to turn your 3 of a kind Rain Razor's turn into 7 damage. It's going to be interesting to see how Brody wants to, if he wants to continue to play out those cards aggressively in his first cycle, or really try to set up for something powerful, utilizing Remembrances and Art of Wars and cards of that nature.
Are the Lexis still doing the thought process of, I need to play 1 Boulder Trap just for Oldhim, and then take an off turn, try to get my Oldhim opponent into swinging Titan's Fist so I can mess with the shield and then I don't have to deal with the shield at all?
I haven't seen it personally at any of the games I've watched so far today. I don't think it's been as in vogue, so to speak, in the current matchups.
Okay. I like that.
This is going to be an Endless Arrow coming in with Go Again, blocked out by the 4 block of the card plus the Rampart, followed up by a Pathing Helix, I have to assume also with Go Again.
This is the last swan song for Oldhim. Interesting. Normally, I don't know. Yeah, I guess we'll root against them.
you're deciding.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, this is for in
I
terms
don't
of
like Lexi though either.
this is a hater's dream.
Yeah.
This is a hater's dream.
We got a perfect block off of a whatchamacallit? Staunch Response. That's pretty good.
Brody able to, after those attacks, just set up another arsenal. He's not working off a 6-card hand. He hasn't been able to. Matt Vore going to go ahead and gain 3 life off a Sigil of Solace, back up to 32, pass it back to Brody.
That's 2 sigils, and then 1 went back into his deck, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, one started.
Because I think that's a thought process when you're playing a go wide deck. You're like, I love gaining health. I don't love grabbing a sigil on a very powerful turn where I'm trying to stop my opponent's mid-turn, and then I can't.
For sure. Let's see how Brody wants to take the beginning of this turn. He hasn't used his Lexi activation, so currently no second arsenal zone open to him. Brody's still at 40. Matt Vore sitting at a comfortable 32. 10 minutes elapsed so far in this, the quarterfinals.
Oh my goodness.
Of the Battle Hardened.
What a recap. Let's go. Playing on an Arcane Game and Events mat that is only 1 of 1. That has wax on it from the Levium, or what is it? From Alan Crayons. We're doing a throwback there.
Alan Crayons Javarin.
Yeah. I think what's interesting is what's not interesting is the quiver placement. I mean, like you can put your quiver wherever you
Oh,
want.
that's not interesting to you? You don't want to talk about it?
Like no, it's just over there. And like some people put their stuff over there.
It's true. It's true.
I don't know if there's a like you would be a better Lexi player if you put your quiver on the left side, or if it makes you deliberately practice by reaching over there for it. I don't know.
I have a feeling it doesn't add too many percentage points to your victories where you place the quiver. But hey, listen, I could be wrong.
True.
True.
You're not wrong very many times. What are we thinking about? Probably we don't have a good pitch card. Maybe we don't want to pitch a yellow or a red. We're just
Well, we're seeing Brody Spurlock in his final form, untimed matches.
Oh,
there is no need for.
Has he ever
Warriors to
lost an
play.
untimed match?
Yeah.
Oh,
for sure.
I don't watch much Flash. So.
You don't need to, bro. You're not casting much.
3 of a Kind is in Arsenal, so let's see what's behind door number 1, 2, 3, or after we do this.
This is going to be a Heat Seeker coming in, and we're not throwing the 3 of a Kind yet. It looks as though Brody electing to keep that 3 of a Kind to perhaps pair with something like a Rain Razors, like an Art of War, to make an even bigger turn. Just drawing 3 cards might not be enough to get through the defenses of our old granddaddy.
The grandfather of eternity. It feels like they were talking about his LS or his living legend and still playing afterwards. That's a full block. Matthew Vore said thank you, but no thanks to giving you an extra card. But this could mess with my shield if I don't block this out.
Coming in now with the drill shot for 5, electing to keep that 3 of a Kind in the arsenal for a later turn.
Cannot have a drill shot hit if you want to be an Oldham winner against Lexi.
Absolutely, yeah. It's been a huge reason why the Ranger decks have been able to prevail when they do, is if they are able to force that on hit across and turn the consistent value of the Rampart into a net negative. But this, with the 2 cards in hand, he's got a Terra Sunder and a Command and Conquer, looking as though he's deciding how does he want to.
Yeah, you got to block with both of them. Oh, just kidding. We have another mystery card that we're going to block with.
Pummel coming up into the hand after the Crown of Seeds activation. So we have a damage prevention on the stack. And then we're going to use the floating that we have for the Rampart, which is going to cover it up alongside the Crown of Seeds. 1, 1, and 3. And that Pummel is probably going to go ahead and park right in the arsenal. Now, again, Crown of Seeds, part of the power of that card is that Pummel.
Right.
You know, that's a powerful thing. It can sit there for when your Tunic is up and you have the Command and Conquer coming in. But if you do crown it away, suddenly you have a powerful Pummel just right at the bottom of the deck that your opponent never got the chance to see.
I am interested of what is going on in Matthew Vore's head of, I wish I could have played Command and Conquer to try and get this 3 of a Kind out of here. That would have helped a lot, but then I would lose my shield, and that's just, that's not a good trade. And like, at a certain point, when you're playing such an aggressive deck that goes wide, it is kind of like, when do I get to have my turn? And I think it's all about windows, whether you're a wizard or you're a guardian. It's like, where do I want to take a 7 damage arrow that doesn't have an on hit I care about to do like a 6 damage attack? Sick'em Shot. Everybody's in a disagreement about this card.
Are they?
Some people are like, it's trash. Go again arrows are not great. Like all it has on it is go again.
Yeah.
But
it's not free like a Falcon Wing.
Right. But it's a 1 for 5 if you load it with a +1 instead, because it already has the go. But we're going to perfect block it because we're Oldham.
Yeah, a little Fate Foreseen coming out, plus the Rampart block. That's going to cover up all of the 5 damage. And Brody, yeah, still showing the desire, the propensity to keep that 3 of a Kind.
SAT words.
Yeah, what did you say, lugubrious?
Lugubrious.
That was insane.
Dude.
Lugubrious really hit me just
That's why they
the
give me Cheez-Its.
Dairy makes you
No, I'm just saying.
vocabulous?
It's like the big bucks, but we don't get paid.
Oh, got
so
you.
it's Cheez-Its.
Let's go! This is Pathing Helix without a really relevant on-hit effect because the arsenal is full, so we're not going to reload upon any hit here. This is just 5 damage. The Crown of Seeds is going to get activated with some of those floating resources because, boy, can that deck use resources. Boy, can it do what it wants to do.
Somebody in the chat's asking if there's a top 8 bracket I could see. I bet it's on our Twitter.
Hopefully.
I'm going to guess. I'm not quite sure. Somebody just tweeted it.
Michael Fung, Pro Tour champion.
He's taking our Twitter likes. Isn't winning the Pro Tour enough for you, bro? Why you take our credit Trader likes? Yeah, let's get back.
We appreciate the help. We appreciate the help. This is going to be a Titan's Fist coming in for
4.
Because it's 3 or greater.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I was thinking Zealous Belting. Yeah, no, I feel it. Coming in for 4.
It's so weird how good Rouse the Ancient is, or how bad it is.
Mm.
It's like either the best card in your hand because you're just rolling somebody, or it's like, oh great, I don't have a 6 block, it's only 5. It wasn't tweeted. Yeah, it's because everyone else that works at this is just chatting around, looking at all their promo cards, and acting like people are flipping us off. We're very. What is it called? Bullied around here?
We're being taken to task.
Great. Brody's turn. Is he going to block? There's no point in blocking, right? You can take 4 damage 10 times, Brody.
You can take 4
cares?
10 times, but hey, he didn't become.
I mean,
He didn't become Kid Power Boy Wonder
yeah.
XP McGee by
Dude.
blocking quick. No. He's taking his time, deciding if he needs every single card in that hand, and if he's not going to use them, perhaps they're better to block with.
I mean, it is something
He's got
where,
time.
Yeah,
He's got
yeah,
time.
it's untimed.
And for all,
I don't think he's lost an untimed round in my entire life, right?
Say it again. An
His
untimed
entire
round?
life?
I don't think so. Yeah, not in his entire life. No,
Sheesh.
I'm just going to go ahead and agree with you because I think that's going to make
Dude, blocking 2 is crazy.
blocking
'Cause
2.
That would be so good. Just play that next time.
Well, he does have the tunic counter up, so maybe he's seeing that.
Get rid of the tunic counter. That's pretty good too.
That's true. I hear it.
Okay, we're playing this one immediately. This is a 3 of a kind. If we draw Rain Razors, it's kind of not going to work for us.
Yeah, and he's been, he was saving it for a number of turns. So I'm interested to see what that other Arsenal zone holds because he didn't want to play it on those other turns where he had some powerful arrows as enough of a threat. Clearly, he thought so. So what is he wanting? He's been clearly wanting to pair it with something. Let's see what it is.
Right. We're kind of need a flip of the card no matter what, too. There we go. Bolt and shot. Most of the time, you want to send the bolt and shot before you put another arrow next to it so you could get the possibility of it working. But we're going to Frostlock instead. Is there a fuse? You better believe it.
Perhaps
an
that's
Ice Quake.
Yeah, and perhaps that was part of what that 3 of a kind was sent out for, looking for an ice card to fuse with. In these Lexi decks,
Blocked
sometimes
with an ice card, though.
he did block with an ice card. Yeah, you
so
right.
That would be bad.
Yeah, you right.
Sheesh.
Kind words from the Pro Tour champ in chat. We really appreciate it. Thanks for tuning in. Get out here, bro.
Yeah.
Get out here. What are we doing?
Come win the tournament tomorrow, dude, and you can get on
The other grinders
blue eye
here,
or
Mr.
whatever.
Spurlock's here. Mara, come out
Yeah.
here. Come out here, girl.
Actually,
You afraid of Mara?
No, this is a no dragon zone flying over here, man. Nobody even got close to top 36, I think, on Dromai today.
Wallach was 17, 18, 19, 18.
Dang. Oh, we got a Frostlock. We're thinking about blocking it. I don't think there's a lot of 0-cost cards unless it's Del Taco. You could walk back to the game. What the play-by-play update of Anthony Pham's game versus Afai is probably he's up by 10 right now.
So this is going to be blocked out. He's pitching the Fate Foreseen because the fuse on the Frostlock, meaning no cards with cost 0 can be played or pitched. So that Fate Foreseen is going to be much better later in the
That's
game.
if it hits. So right now he's just making the defense reaction cost 1 more.
Yeah.
So I think that's why that's a dead card instead, which sucks for Matt.
Yeah, similar.
Is he somebody that
Tracking
goes
effect.
only by Matthew? Like you can't say Matt?
I don't know if you can't say Matt.
I guess Alex goes by Alex, or he would have been Alexander too.
True. This Bolt Shot now coming in for 4. Again, no reload effect threatened because the Arsenal is taken up. And this is just going to be a Bolt Shot for 2, so not the most powerful turn off a 3 kind, and only
No.
1 left in Brody's deck.
Unless the last time we heard, oh, what happened against Craig? Craig told me that Brody played all 3 remembrances in addition to the quiver.
Yeah, and look at this because
And I asked Craig, I was like, when's the last time that's happened to you? He said, that has never happened.
yeah, it was something we saw popularized in, I think, or not popularized, but it was used very well in the Calling Singapore in the kind of like bonus stream game between Liao Peitung and Matt Rogers, there was a crazy final turn used with Remembrance, put exactly 2 cards left in the deck. There are no cards left in the deck. Remembrance, 2 cards exactly back in, draw both of them exactly with Art of War, win the game with those 2 cards. It was very cool. So these remembrances.
You were watching every stream, dude.
Dude,
You know all this stuff.
I love this game.
You're doing research.
I love this game.
Hey, homework even.
But so now with the extra cards drawn up the 3 of a kind here, rather than just allowing those extra cards to sit in the hand or the pitch to just sit in the ether, he goes ahead and cashes them in, getting powerful cards back in the Battering Bolt, the Endless Arrow, and one other just right back into the deck. So, Brody's comfortable playing a long game. The life deficit's only 10,
Right.
but we got time. We got all the time in the
Is there
world.
a timer for this?
No, that's why we got time.
Oh my god, I don't think he's ever lost a game.
Yeah, never in his
Jeez.
life. You're wrong. I mean, you're right.
21 minutes to do 12 damage. Thank God Oldham's out of here, you know?
Yeah. Well, hey, and
We
if we
could
did,
start going home early.
if we didn't have this game on stream, we just have to wait for it when the other game.
True,
ends.
that's
So
why
it's
we
like,
did this one.
Yeah, we just gotta. It's gonna take this long anyway. Might as well watch it.
I'm assuming because Anthony's walking around, that game is over. So I don't know if anybody that's over here in this area that normally tells us stuff that are just chatting away will tell us who won that one or not.
Yeah, absolutely. So, again, Brody's showing the ability to, or clearly looking for again a longer game plan, able to maybe fatigue the old hin.
I haven't seen Command and Conquer in Arsenal for Alexi in a long time. Like, I don't know if these plays are unorthodox or it's just like, no, I have 72 cards, and that card works just as well as the card I flip as every other arrow I have. Why wouldn't I do that? How much Lexi have you played? You used to do it back in the day, right?
How say it again?
You've played Lexi.
Yes. What was the question?
How much have you played Lexi?
Oh, it was the first year I started with in CC.
Yeah, that's
so
what I
played it a good bit, and then once Outsiders came out, I was definitely playing the hero again, playing in the call in Baltimore. This is going to be a flip of a CNC at the start of the turn with the Lexi, and then this Bolt and Shot again, coming in for 4. No reload worried about, so we're going to block it with a card and our trusty shield.
This is the guy you were talking about.
This is the guy I was talking about. I
He's
hope
in the chat?
he's in the chat. That crying, laughing emoji makes me think I pronounced his name wrong. And
That's
if I
great.
did, I apologize. I apologize.
Well, I'm sure he can't pronounce your last name, so
Well, I don't want to.
I don't know.
assume.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't want to assume. This
we're
is
all doing our best.
yeah. This is going to be now the second Voltaire activation. Now a normal blue drill shot. Normal attacks for 2. Not that relevant, but this is a non-hit effect that Matt needs to care about. But it's an easy 1-card block here.
Arrows coming in for 2 just feels like yikes.
We're going to go ahead and crown away 1 of the damage here off the Crown of Seeds. So the Rampart's still sitting on the combat chain. So it's still going to require another point of damage block to stop the drill shot from turning off that Rampart for most likely the rest of the game.
What are we trying to do with our next Rain Razors if you're Brody? Are you trying to do a power turn, or are you trying to do, like, let me catch you slipping?
Again, these new Lexi lists with the remembrances and the quivers, I'm not sure how much they're worried about when do the big power turns come, or if it's about really stacking it towards the end. So you have to imagine with this matchup classically, you want to stack your power cards together. You want to put the Rain Razors with 3 of a kind, maybe even with an Art of War if he brought him in for this matchup, but we haven't seen one yet, so I don't know if they're in. But you have to imagine that that's the way you chunk down this old hymn's life total, but perhaps it's more about utilizing the shuffle effects of the quiver, of the the remembrances, not necessarily worrying about the pitch stack so much at this first part of the game, and just getting to that critical mass where you're at. Both players are having to work with less cards in deck, and you're able to threaten those type of effects.
And you have threats only left.
Exactly. So we're going to start
got
the
a
turn
flip?
here, showing an Endless Arrow,
Not your favorite one, see?
putting a Codex to the bottom by pitching it to the Voltaire. We're going to give.
I think that's one thing that's just so backbreaking is like, okay, I'm keeping up. I'm not under 20, but I haven't seen a Codex played, and Codex just represents so much of a like rubber band effect of like, I'm gonna jump ahead real quick.
Yeah, well, and probably Brody potentially playing towards an opportunity where Matt doesn't have an arsenal, so that Codex can do a little more work than just create the ponder and create the frailty. So we're going to block out this red bolt and shot with the staunch response, leave the 1 floating in case we need it for the Rampart, So we need it for a Crown of Seeds, but we're going to activate Voltaire a second time.
We're thinking about it.
We got it.
Oh, okay, there it is.
We're
This is
gonna
going to
say-
have go again for free. So this will be +1 instead of give it go. This is 4. Block that out.
Block that out for 4, again with the Rampart, and then here comes the Endless Arrow. We're using the Tunic counter to
Hopefully grab a 3 block.
activate the Crown of Seeds.
Ooh, it's
And we're
Command
just
and
going to use that
Conquer.
same card that we drew, or for one of the 2 cards in our hand, and the damage prevention on the Crown of Seed to go ahead and stop all that damage on the turn.
Not your favorite Oldham turns. Like, I think that is something that is so funny about the new set of, like, outsiders just turning. Oh, it's pretty hard to, like, back in January we watched Craig just beat Ayali, and it was like, Ayali's coming back from, like, 40 health down and barely gets there, but it's still like, oh, it's such a Herculean effort, and now it's like Lexi's favorite.
Yeah.
The judge needs to correct their posture. Dang.
Leave 'em alone.
Evan taking
Leave them
shots
alone.
from the Sun State. I guess that's Florida. Matthew Vore has 1 yellow card.
Ooh.
Final.
Oh, Atonement Findal, interesting. So, coming back onto Brody's turn here, we have the Drill Shot in the arsenal. We have a Remorseless coming in. That's just going to be blocked for 6. Let's see what the follow-up is for Mr. Spurlock here.
And now that we've seen Brody's list, there is not a Art of War, so we don't have to worry about those.
Oh, yeah, that's true. No Art of Wars in the list for Brody this go-round. We are just throwing a Withering Shot that has go again, coming in for 5. And 1 floating, pitching a Remembrance. So those Remembrances are going to be relevant later, as this Withering Shot is going to come through, maybe not give a Frailty. But it looks like that's not going to matter because we're taking all the cards anyway because we're throwing the Drill Shot. We're taking the last block off the Crater Fist, which will be relevant. There's no free blocks over there on the equipment suite other than the Tunic.
Don't want to be blocking with Tunic anytime in the next 30 minutes.
No, probably not.
It's got to happen at minute 58.
Probably not.
Or he's toast. God, this sucks when you're playing. You're just waiting to, like, get owned by arrows. Which I'm like, what happens? What is an Oldham's best attack against this besides just the regular old Spinal? Is there anything else they can do?
Looks like he's got 3 red disables. That's going to pressure the arsenal, as well as the 3 red pummels. So if he ever has the opportunity to kind of be on the front foot, but Matt Vore's been blocking. I mean, I think it really started on that turn that we saw the 2 sigils and the Oasis in the hand. Like, he had to kind of navigate through that turn and takes a bit of damage, but really just block it out. And then since then, Brody's really been under no pressure but Titan's Fist. So there hasn't been any opportunity for Brody to have to block. He's just able to go ahead and kind of, execute his game plan in any way he wishes, and that's putting Matt just in the position of having to block pretty much every turn.
We see the sigil in Matt's hand, so I think we have gone through that deck once already because we draw so many more cards with our Crown of Seeds.
And 1 was played, yeah.
Because he's not shuffling his deck as Oldham anytime soon.
This might be, wow, hold on. That's an interesting point from Tom in the chat. This perhaps, in terms of
The last day we ever have to watch an Oldham game unless you're watching tomorrow.
That's true. I mean, because we but we control the power.
Right.
This is the last,
We ban Oldham tonight
Well-
for tomorrow's tournament and say too
This
bad.
is the last, rated event of this scale with this hero in the format.
Right.
So the Searing Shot being blocked for 4, but then here comes the Battering Bolt 4/7, the +1 with the Voltaire, putting it over the top, requiring the Crown of Seeds activation if you're going to want to block it all out, which he is with 2/3 blocks and the Crown of Seeds prevention, blocking the 7. And once again, we're just sitting at 34-24 with 30 minutes elapsed in this game.
I just remember what I was going to talk about. So I think what's interesting about Flesh and Blood 2 is, like, you can't go half in on a game plan.
Mhm.
So I don't think Matt's ever going to be like, I'm going to take some damage so I can Titan's Fist you right now.
Mhm.
And, like, it is, like, you have to go all in on fatigue or it's not going to work. And Brody probably knows that's one of Matt's only options, which is why he's going to be playing all 3 Remembrance and we already used our Quiver. So I think it's something where, does Matthew even have enough cards to finish that game plan? And every single decision going on the Oldham's head doesn't get to be the cool one of like, let me do 6 damage to you and threaten an arsenal. It is, I have to block as perfectly as possible for an hour. Even if I do that, if my opponent draws the Rain Razor at the wrong time, I just lose anyway. Just like, yikes.
Well, and, I believe Matt and Craig are teammates, the Oldham from earlier in the day that Brody took down with
Right.
that final turn right before the fatigue happened. So Matt Vore, aware of what could happen, that he's probably not going to be parking that hard to find all in the arsenal at the very end of the game because of what happened in that earlier game. So this is what happens in a long day of tournament play. You have, game plans and lines start to get a little disseminated among the public rather than just, the first time you're playing into
Right.
here, the first time you're playing into a specific strategy on a given day.
And that was a hero power activation, so instead of using a card to block, just because it's a blue arrow, cool, I'll get to keep this card for later and block most of that out. But now it's drill shot time.
Yeah, and this might be the final red drill shot. I know we've seen a number of them. One of them was blue, so I'm not sure if there is another red drill shot left in the deck, but that's a huge part of the Lexi's game plan is finding a way using a Codex, using Rain Razors to get a counter on that Rampart of the Rand's head. So far, Brody unable to do so. You saw him take a minute. I mean, he takes a minute to do a lot of things, but you saw him take a minute to think about if he even wanted to send that drill shot because Matt was very clearly representing the ability to block that out with the Crown of Seeds and then the subsequent draw.
I think we have at least one Remembrance in hand and maybe another one. So, like, we're going to hit a curb pretty soon of, like, or pothole, whatever you want to say, molehill, like, whatever you trip
I
on
don't
these
think
days.
I want to say molehill, but we can say it.
Okay, well, we're going to reveal a Codex. That means we have a second Arsenal again, but we're going to pitch a Remembrance again. I think drawing 2 Remembrance is not what you want to be doing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if there's another one in the hand or if it's a Rain Razors, which at this point in the game, with the Codex of Frailty, it could be a way to get... Now, I'm talking about, oh, no, we've used all of our red drill shots. How are we going to... Hold on. There's a brand new card in
3
Outsiders.
more.
Yeah, that, you can get really any of those arrows in the game. And we're still representing the Bullseye Bracers. We're still representing the Snapdragon Scalers. Now, what's interesting is this is face up, right? This Codex of Frailty is not something you have to question. It's sitting right there. It's aware that this is, Matt's able to look at this and say, okay, I need to be thinking about Codex for the rest of this turn.
And this is where you need a 4 block. So you don't want to be using your Crown of Seeds until Codex is played. And that's maybe a way Brody can get around. I'm tired of this what is it called? Mother Crown of Seeds in this mother game, and I want that gone to get some more room for me. But I can't get it gone, but I can threaten the getting of it gone enough where you won't even use it because you're afraid of it.
Well, yeah, because if you're Brody, do you want to throw it out knowing that you're not going to get the effect on the Oldham side?
You need Oldham to discard a card.
So that you can get the big arrow through.
And so you can go get the red drill shot, right?
Yeah, but most likely. Now, we do see a Rain Razors in the hand. This looks like this is him electing if he wants to react with it, perhaps.
Brody and Evan having a slouching contest. I would be top 8 in that. Semis and finals are happening immediately after this because we're on the West Coast. So it's only a little bit, it's like 3 hours earlier than it is where y'all are. Oh, the Dodgers just won against the Astros too? The Astros, boo them. We got this shot. This arrow is a Syrian shot. It's 3, but it could do 1 more damage if it hits.
Now, this is a... Okay, we're using both of the defense reactions here on this hand to clear it up. Now, this is an opportunity for Matt Vore. He's finally been able to keep 3 cards, 2 in the hand, 1 in the arsenal, 1 in the hand, 1 in the back, bubbling. But the question is, does he have a big response? And this is exactly how you can, finally
Evan
put a little bit of
reacting
pressure.
as a judge is hilarious.
But this is
Evan is like, he's like playing in his mind right now here. He's like, oh, what am I going to do? It's like...
Judge the game.
He's like looking over to see the cards.
Judge
like,
the
come
game. But this Spinal Crush now, so we know pretty sure we know that's a Rain Razors in that second Arsenal zone. So, you're not able to pop off with that Rain Razors and the Codex in the same way you would if you didn't have to block a whole freaking Spinal Crush here. So, to get to your second Arsenal slot here, you're going to need to play one of those 2 cards,
Right.
and you'd much rather play both of those cards with a full grip of your own. Right, so this is a huge Spinal Crush coming out from Matthew Vore.
And this is a kind of a thought process of if I do 9 here, and I was planning for this the whole game because I had to, Terra Thunder better be next. The second Terror Sunder better be after that. I don't think you could do 3 in a row. That's kind of crazy.
Now, what's interesting here is this is going to leave Matt without an arsenal. It's also going to leave him without a counter on his, or not without 3 counters on his tunic. So this is now an opportunity. You know, you are going to be able to get that effect across if you're Brody here with the Codex, with the discard, and it'll be more challenging to, you won't be able to just crown it away with the tunic resource. So we'll see how does Brody, after having to block with 2 red arrows there.
No crush.
No crush. He only takes the 3. He's going to flip the Rain Razors and most likely just play it out. We got the tunic counter if we need to load an arrow with that. But we're going to load with Voltaire, put in a battering bolt. Now it's time for the Codex.
A different arrow first.
This Codex, we're going to give out a Frailty token. We're going to make a Ponder token of our own. And we're going to see, you know, does Matt Vore want to grab another Spinal Crush, get something ready that he just can put back into his deck with the Crown of Seeds later.
That's why you got to start playing Hemorrhage Bore Alexis to immediately punish that.
Looks like he's looking towards the
oh my
Command
goodness,
and
people are
Conquer.
trash talking in the chat, but they didn't come out here. Yikes. What did he grab?
Command and Conquer.
Oh, okay.
And we are just going to go ahead and throw out a battering bolt here.
Just
this
for
is
8.
Coming for 8. The Command and Conquer over on Matt's side, sitting in the arsenal, which will be coming in for 5 on his next turn.
Don't break the chain if you don't have to. Pokey mokey.
Let's see. This is going to be just the...
Because I want to block this one more. Yep. Now we have our best attack in our arsenal, but we're going to be using that for a Crown of Seeds instead.
Most likely. And keeping it back in the deck. That means it's coming around for later in the game. So we tried to get through with our red drill shot there, like we've been talking about, if we're the Lexi player here, but Matt Vore able to still find the correct sequence to block it out.
Right. Brody, flip that card. What's under there?
What's under door number 1?
Yeah. We can't wait any longer.
Brody's
How many times has he played Untimed Round?
in his life?
Yeah.
Let me just think real quick. Yeah, it's 70 more.
Has he ever lost one? That's our bet we're doing today.
Brody Spurlock continually today showing his opponent one of his cards from his hand with that hand shuffling. Again, just trying to, you know, kind of equalize the state. You know, he knows how kind of big a name he is. He knows how many events he's won, so he's just trying to give a little bit of information to his opponent to make sure that everybody, you know, feels like we're all playing the same level of flesh and blood here.
True. That is a Falcon Wing, but we care about this other one first. We're going to give this one go again because we probably care about the +1 on the final 3rd arrow, which would be nice. We're going to block with Crown. We're going to block with Rampart. Oh, no, we're not going to use Rampart. We're not going to use Crown yet. We've got the 4.
Starting off with just the Fate Foreseen and the Rampart of the Ram's Head, covering up the entire 5 and representing some floating if we need to use that Crown of Seeds later.
Okay. Here's 3. Here's a 3 block. I think it's interesting. Falcon Wing is the one where I feel like you could take it, technically. And then we're going to +1 into our... But can we shoot it? No. Not sending the arrow.
Saving it for later. Just wanting it to be on a 3-arrow turn.
I guess that makes sense because the math doesn't work on that.
This is just going to be another Titan's Fist for 4. Brody, welcome back to the tank, sir.
Right. Dude,
the tank missed you.
Evan loves looking at people's hands. So funny.
We see a Rain Razors in his hand. We see a Command and Conquer. Now those are not 2 cards you really want to be pairing together.
If you're Brody, how do you play around continuously drawing your remembrances before you play them? Is it like, I probably should play them quicker?
I'm not sure. I haven't played them in my own deck list. You have to imagine that at a certain point, like when you can kind of control when you see the cards that you remembrance in by playing them later in the game. Like, you know they're going to find them closer together if there's less cards in your deck. Perhaps that's part of it, but you're going down a card to do that. You have to make sure you have enough life total that you can take some attacks to play your remembrance, be down a card, and still present enough damage. So we shall see how he wishes to go about it on his side of the board, because we are coming in first on his turn now with a Heat Seeker coming in with Go again for 5.
I feel like the real heat seeker is the heat emanating from him shuffling his cards so much over there. That's
Tell me
crazy.
about it. Tell me about it.
This is for 5 for
The-
people paying attention at home.
The real Heat Seeker, the friends we made along the way.
Oh my gosh, I wish. I haven't made a friend in Flesh and Blood tournament in 3 hours, you know?
Wow, okay, this Heat Seeker now, I'm curious what Matt Four's got in the hand. I see another Spinal Crush, and there's that red sigil, the last one. So he's allowing this Heat Seeker trigger to hit. So, you know, Brody Spurlock now all of a sudden, his whole turn that he's been thinking about, you have to imagine that he wasn't expecting to get that Heat Seeker trigger online, but knowing that, we're going to see how he wants to continue the rest of the turn, because he's getting another card in his arsenal no matter what.
If there's a way we can make a drill shot show up after this, Matt's going to lose the shield 40 minutes in, which is, it's a good time to keep it all that time. Unless we find, I guess we do have a Tunic where we could just draw a card off the top of our deck and hope it's a 3-block.
I'm ready to do that right now. So we're going to draw a card from the Crown of Seeds. We have a Crown of Seeds Prevention floating. We're going to block with Survey Says.
Because I want to block 6, you're actually blocking 7 damage when you do this, because we don't have to think about Blood Rot. We're taking it? What? I'm just kidding. The Blood Rot is coming over.
So yeah, the 1 damage prevention floating is going to soak up 4 of that damage, but Matt Bohr saying, hey, I got another Spinal Crush. I'm wanting to deploy it.
Yeah, let's pummel this baby. Let's get a stew going.
And we are going to let that Heat Seeker trigger most likely resolve.
I think the only thing that you could mess up off a Heat Seeker would be like face up Remembrance.
Even that, you can play that card.
Right. I just don't know if he still needs the yellow pitch, or how far are we into this deck.
And so what Brody did there, he's going to go ahead and use the final
Some
pitch.
people have all the luck, man. What, like, only 1 Death Touch in his entire deck, straight from the top of the deck to the arsenal, not the weird, awkward part in between. That is the next level. If you want to get good, have that happen. This is a Spinal, though.
And I'm not sure if there are really any arrows in his hand. I saw like 2 or 3 Winner's Bites. So this Death Touch can just be thrown out, but the Rain Razors that's in the rest of the other arsenal zone, you know, you want that to pair with arrows, not necessarily with the Death Touch. Let's see, we've got at least 2 Winner's Bites in there. Those are going to block for 2. We got a Falcon Wing that blocks for 3, and then an Ice Quake, which I think blocks for 2, right?
Just 2.
Yeah, so those are going to be 3 ice cards that, again, you need Go again on this turn to do all of that stuff. So perhaps sending those 3 ice cards down to block, just sending out the Death Touch with the Tunic counter that will be online on the very next turn.
Triples Winner's Bite would have been insane, though. I guess you can't Winner's Bite if they're, yeah, not going to happen.
Yeah, so these 3 ice cards, it looks like they are just going to go ahead and get blah, blah, blah.
2, 2, 2. We do get to Go again if we want, but I think what's interesting is who cares about having Go again when you got your Death Touch? Like,
Yep.
just throwing this for 6 is almost pretty good.
Yeah, so he's going to be able to tick the Tunic up, reveal the Rain Razors, throw out the Death Touch with the Tunic, and then arsenal that Falcon Wing, which is exactly the type of card you want to have with the Rain Razors, right?
Right.
You want to be able to send multiple arrows, and a Falcon Wing is a
Have a
great way to do
free
that.
one
Yeah,
for,
and it's just
oh,
chilling there. That's going to be 5 damage that's just sitting in the arsenal. And here's the thing, man. Like, Matt 4's at 13 now. Like, we're talking about a game plan with remembrances and the quiver, but
Right.
we're working towards
I
a
don't-
game state
yeah,
where damage could be the thing that closes this thing out, especially with the Bullseye Bracers, the Snapdragon Scalers. It's all still there for
He hasn't
Brody.
used a piece of equipment yet? Oh, my goodness.
This Death Touch is 6 damage. I mean, you're gonna block it most likely with the you got the cards to do so. But again, Matt Vor, these are the turns you have to have the right represented clap back. We've had the Spinal
Let's
Crushes a couple times, but he
hit
took
a tear asunder, please.
yeah, he took a bunch of damage to do this.
2 with Pummel Hand's not going to work out for anybody, though. 1 pummel there.
1 pummel to the bottom of the deck, and there is the Terra Sunder, but electing to use his
That's
cards to
not gonna
block.
Work.
And that Terra Sunder most likely just going to go ahead and represent a Titan's Fist attack, as he's going to go ahead
Ooh,
and Gain
Sigil.
3 life.
Thought I had 13 health? You thought I had 13 health? That's funny. That's funny. I have 16 health. I'm Oldham. All I do is gain health, man.
That's what he sounds like in my head.
That's funny.
Yeah.
And here comes a Titan's Fist for no, or they didn't even swing it. It's
No,
just an
that Terra
Arsenal.
Center went right to the Arsenal.
So as long as Brody doesn't have a Rain Razor's turn right now, which is definitely going to happen, Matthew's going to be able to turn this game the other way.
Yeah, you have to imagine that Terra Center is just going right to the bottom with something like a Crown of Seeds, right?
Yeah.
Like, we're not going to sit on it, especially on a Rain Razor's turn. We need to use the damage prevention. We need to turn that card into a blocking card.
Dude, I love how much, like, are judges supposed to just hand peek the whole time? I don't know if that's judging or
Leave
you're
Evan
you're
alone.
supposed to just
Leave
just
him
be
alone.
chilling. Oh,
So
I
we're
remember what that was.
We're
yeah.
starting off with the Falcon Wing here. This is for 3 with Go again. Not necessarily. Hey, you know, we haven't thrown the Rain Razors yet.
Just block 3.
Might be
Just
coming.
block 3. Who cares?
There's
Take
gonna be
this
the
to
Rain
garbage.
Razors. So this is gonna be 2 coming through.
That was blocked by Sigil from earlier, basically.
True.
And now all the damage will be quote unquote face up. So we're just hoping, if we're fans of Matt, we're hoping that there's not a crazy arrow like Bolton shot. Oh, never mind. We're gonna do 3 of a kind.
So and
Jeez Louise.
critically, we've already thrown an attack for 5. We have both of
Not
our Voltaire
Voltaire,
activations,
Jesus.
and we still have our Bullseye Bracers and our Snapdragon Scalers. And
This is the perfect hand for Alexi. This is why this hero's so good. If you're looking for a new hero to play and you haven't tried an aggro hero, if you're trying, oh, Oldham got LL'd, what could I play next? Play this, because they're not going to nerf any of this. This is just going to be a thing here.
all right, we've got this is looks like I think a red drill shot. So this is most
6.
likely the last red drill shot in the deck. Going to be covered up entirely by that staunch response, but still taking 2 cards out of the hand here. 1 floating can activate the Crown of Seeds if we need. Brody, you know, nicely closing the chain for us because without a Rampart, it's not that relevant.
Second Voltaire. Pitch.
Put in a
Bolton
Bolton shot. This one comes in for 7
Why is this so good?
because if this one hits, he gets to reload.
Oh. And we can most likely think that's going to be an arrow there. It has go again no matter what, so we don't need to use our Snapdragon Scalers. But we would have to use our hands, the Bullseye Bracers. I'm 96% sure a bug just flew in my mouth.
Okay.
And I
Okay.
did not expect that. So if it starts to bite me, I'm sorry.
Okay. You're only 96?
It like went directly to the uvula.
Okay, so you're 100% sure.
Yeah.
My word.
I don't think it's going to fly out.
So we're putting the Tunic in front of this because this reload is that threatening. We're putting 1,
Tunic.
2.
We said if he blocks with his Tunic before minute 50, he loses, and he missed it by
Wow.
2 minutes.
So I mean, if the
Do
game
we know Flesh and Blood
if
or
the
what?
game goes in Brody Spurlock's favor, we know why. And this is going to come through for 1? No. Yeah, it comes through for 1. So he's deciding on the reload because that's only blocking 6.
I get to save my arm for next time. And do this all over again. No, there's only 1 arrow, so we can only do this once. You can't it is a reload arrow, right? Not anything?
Reload anything. Reload.
That'd be sick. Give him a frostbite, really ruin his day. Infecting shot on Blake. It was like a bug shot for 7. It's like inside right there.
So we go ahead and resolve the reload trigger, which is
Cool.
going to plop in a...
Face up. Flip. Here's a frostbite. Take that.
And this is, I think, just going to set up a...
Because now we use Bullseye. This is the biggest arrow of the night,
Except it's a blue.
except it's a blue. So it's back to being a red +1. That one's going to hit. Here's a Blood Rot Pox.
So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on an arrow for...
Oh, and
so
if
that
it
was for
hits,
9.
The Ice Quake gives you a second frostbite.
Yeah, and that was an attack for, I
You're
believe,
not going to
9.
be able to pay for the frostbite at all.
Yeah, I don't think it affects...
Or no, it doesn't affect Blood Rot.
No, it
let's
doesn't
be
affect.
real.
Yeah, it's triggered. But that was still an attack for, I think, 9, right? Yeah, so he's going down to 4.
Oh.
So that was a pretty huge turn on the
Whoops.
back of not only the 3-of-a-kind Rain Razors, but he started the whole turn off with a card already in his arsenal. Then utilizing the Ice Quake off the reload, giving the Frostbite, playing the card, and then able to use the Bullseye Bracers to just yeet the final arrow in.
Right.
and put 9 damage on his head.
And oh geez, was that a misstep for Vor? I think it's just when there's that many arrows, like how can you block them all?
Yeah, was there potential to use the Crown of Seeds there to prevent another 1 damage, or did he use it all on the Rampart,
mean,
other type of
He's the guy
cards?
playing, so he probably was like, dang, I don't have enough for this.
Let's see how Brody Spurlock, he has the tempo here. Matt Vor's at 3. At this point, you know, the long game we've been talking about, the remembrances, we're just looking at an Oldham player on 3 who's already used all of his sigils.
Right.
So this is now, you know, Matt Vor is in crisis control mode. He's in damage prevention mode. He's in, you know, we're most likely fatiguing if we're winning this game. So can he string together the right blocks to do so? Brody Spurlock, the first attack is going to be blocked out entirely, and this is where the remembrances start to come in. This is where it starts to happen, because we have 24 life to play with if we're the Lexi here. So,
He's only got 10 minutes, though.
yeah.
Oh, wait. It's an untimed round.
Yeah.
Jeez Louise.
He's only got 10 minutes. I hate you.
Sheesh.
All right, so this remembrance going to go ahead and grab the battering bolt. Now, interestingly, these battering bolts, they're just big friggin' attacks,
I
man.
think it legitimately is because it's the only 6 damage arrow. So whenever I buff it with the Voltaire strike twice, it comes in for 7.
Yep, more.
And I don't care if you have 3 health. If I do this to you 3 times, you block 6, you block 6, you block 6. I do 1 to you, I do 2 to you, and I do 3 to you, and you're dead.
Yeah.
Is what happened earlier to the Scourge of Pasadena, who, Craig, you got tomorrow. You got a top 8 tomorrow if you're going to keep the Scourge. What have you done for me lately, Craig? Just kidding. He almost topped 8 today. I think he got like 14th and a half or something. All these people we're talking about are in the 14 to 18 round range. There's another Aiden.
This remembrance does look like it's going to go ahead and grab a Codex of Frailty, which, you know, brings more recursion into this Lexi deck. 2 of these, and I think, like you talked about, these are just big arrows. These are attacks that can hit a different kind of breakpoint for 7. You're putting, you know, you've been pitching blues the whole game. You're going to have those blues available to you when these cards come back around. It looks like he's potentially, instead of the Codex, going for the Sikkim shot because that go again, you know, you talked about the discourse on that card in particular, but how you get through the Oldham player is you just go wide enough. You present enough arrows when they're this low. You have to find a way to close the game out.
If I attack you with 4s and you were blocking with 3s, too bad. You will lose. And that's what we're going to do over and over again. I think it's so daunting to watch somebody search their graveyard and just be like, oh, I get to play whatever card I want again.
Yeah, but now here's the thing, you know, there are not too many cards left in Brody's deck, so he's going to have to do it.
So who cares about consistency or shuffling? Like, I'm going to draw these immediately in 2 turns.
Oh, we've got a Codex even here to finish this turn after the Remembrance. So he's going to draw another card. He's going to give the Frailty. So I think Matt Vor has 3 cards left in his hand, and we're just throwing a Death Touch for 6. That's I mean, you know, you have to imagine these 1 Death Touch. They're there for these Codex turns. They're there because you're able to throw 6 and a non-hit effect.
Who cares if I only have 1? I can.
Yeah.
I have 5 cards.
Yeah.
What is this? Let me look at this deck list. Oh wait, I have 6 cards that I could go grab this back immediately.
So we've got a Titan's Fist coming in. It's only coming in for 3 this time because of the Frailty. Again, Brody's got so much life.
If he blocks. This is crazy.
That would be crazy because we are no longer worried about life if we're Brody. We're worried about our deck size. This is we're attacking on the axis of fatigue here if we're the Oldham player. That is what we have to be worried about if we're the Lexi player here. So let's see how Brody Spurlock.
This should be pretty much the kill turn if he can go wide enough.
We do have that sigil still in the deck. It's still in the hand, and we have the no
Heart of
block in the Heart of Find All, but that can be used for the Crown of Seeds.
Thank God he has a crown. Thank God he has an arsenal. Remembrance number 3. No, that's a bow.
There's a Remembrance in the hand. Yeah.
True.
We're gonna go ahead and put in a Remorseless. No defense reactions from Arsenal. This is gonna be 5 with go again. Let's get that no block out of there. And let's put 1 damage prevention on the stack. We're going to draw a card that hopefully blocks because we had 2 when we started this turn that didn't block. We're going to put the damage prevention on the stack.
I need to drink some water because this bug is
Drink some water,
crawling up my throat or something. I don't think those are mine.
I don't think one of them's open.
Is it?
That's all you.
Oh, I'll drink this one.
Yep. So after that, we are coming in with the blue infecting shot. This is just for 3, so this is going to be able to be blocked out by just the 1 card, or no, the +1 off the Voltaire. So we're going to use the Earth React to cover that up.
Brody is on premeditate. Or is he?
Nope.
I lied. Gotcha. Which is crazy because that feels like it's one of their best cards for Rangers. But if you're running a down and dirty, a death touch, and 2 command and conquers, sometimes it's maybe not great.
And we are running out of deck very quickly for Brody Spurlock. I mean, we've been talking about, you know, how is Matt Vore going to win this game, and we've talked about like at the life, but you know, I think
maybe pitching Heart of Final 5 times in 3 turns.
Yeah, it snuck up on us the lack of cards here in Brody Spurlock's deck, because this is going to be, we're going to put 3 more back in right now.
Number 2.
And we've already used our quiver once. We've already used our one time of the
That's
quiver.
why I was thinking Remembers number 2 was earlier.
Yeah.
There's 1 in the Banish Zone, there's 1 being played, and there's 1 in hand currently. I think what's interesting is you will draw these cards near immediately.
Yeah. And eventually you can set them up pretty much, you know, if you leave it as your last cards there, you can set up your exact final hand.
3 of a kind, right? To just like blaze through this, to be like, here we go. Is that not a thing people do? Non-arrows are clunky for 3 of a kind. Players have to start to cut them. Okay, all right.
We're getting the red bolt and shot. We're getting the battering bolt. What's the third and final action that Brody wishes to grab?
Ooh, no, I don't. Red. I guess there isn't a clause where you have to have 3 different ones. So it is interesting that he chose 3 different ones of. Instead of going for 1 game plan and jamming 3 of those in, we're going to be flexible. What's deck size? I feel like it's the amount of cards in your deck, which could be anywhere between 60 and 75. Is this the max deck you could have?
It's 80 cards total, and then you can present, I think, as many cards.
A weapon and 4
at least
equipment, so 75 is the most you could possibly have.
Coming in here with the battering bolt. This is going to take 2 cards out of Matt's hand, and it looks like
Codex.
Ooh, so this, so now we're representing more damage. I was going to say he's being able to keep Command and Conquer into blue, but no, this is going to put another card straight into the arsenal here for Brody. If he likes to throw some damage, it will keep Matt Vore off of the Command and Conquer that's in his hand. So let's see, and he is going to go ahead and grab the red searing shot and just throw it at Matt for 4. This is going to take the entire rest of the hand from Matt to cover it all up, but he's keeping himself with that battering bolt in his arsenal, trying to set up for the big the turn to close this game out. It looks like he drew a Frost Lock, and he's deciding if he actually wants to arsenal it off of the
Ponder.
Ponder here,
One thought process: if you are, what would you call this deck archetype of Brody's version of what you're seeing? Because this doesn't feel like all aggro. This feels like it's a toolbox thing, or like what would you say?
You know, I think it's a similar shell to what we've seen from a lot of the Lexi players, but he is, you know, clearly into Oldham, taking out most of his ice cards, save for these Ice Quakes. You know, there are 3 yellow Winter's Bites that he took out that would take up a lot of those kind of, you know, disruption effects as well, but we don't see the hamstring shots. It looks like, you know, he's on this list, there's a number of 2 ofs, 2 Command and Conquers, 2 Arctic Incarcerations, 2 Pathing Helixes. So it looks like, you know, definitely a bit more disruptive than some of the just pure fuseless lists, but, you know, willing to try out, like you said, he's not grabbing 3 of the same card. Like, he's willing to try out 1 ofs and 2 ofs for those special effects that you can grab off of something like a Codex, because you do have the ability to keep them going. Even if you only have the 1 in the deck, you can grab it with the Codex, you can grab it with a Remembrance, and keep that effect in there if you don't want to have necessarily 3 of them happening all the time.
Now we got to judge on both sides. So I bet everybody else in top 8 is done.
Brody needs to find a way to finish this thing out before he runs out of deck.
Could help, because it makes everything cost 1 more.
You change our
But
pitch.
there's no way he has like a Sink Below or Fate left at this point anyway.
And most likely not any ice cards. Let's see. Yeah, this is just going to be for 3, no fuse. Needs the Snapdragon Scalers to turn on the go again. But how many arrows wide can we go here? We have a lot of cards in our hands to pitch.
I think you're trying to. I'm going to send a lot of arrows your way, and then the last one's going to be the red infecting shot, and that's going to get you on your own turn with Blood Rock.
Yeah.
That's the whole about what we're about to see. Justin, do we have top 8 matches that have resolved or no? Who won? Who won? Who won? So Majin Bay made it through as Kano. Jonathan Terrace on Katsu. And then we did think Anthony Pham was going to win, and he made it through.
So, yeah, so only one Lexi out of the other games made it through the quarterfinals.
Which, that's crazy, because you have, like, 3 turns to get there with Kano. I should have been paying attention to this, too, but...
Yeah, this was this was a big turn. 2 battering bolts coming in. That's going to bring Matthew Board down to 1. So let's see. These are the 4 cards drawn from Brody. What does he have to try to close this last point of damage out? This is going to be close.
Yeah, because if that was the, what is it called? Infecting Arrow Red, then he just dies on his own turn. So can Brody get this last point of damage with 5 cards?
Starting off, showing the red Bolton shot in the arsenal. That is going to represent a breakpoint. Let's see how he wants. How wide can he go here?
He's counting. He's counting some more.
We're going to start. We're going to activate Voltaire. Strike twice.
If this is a 4 damage arrow, it kind of makes Matt run out of 4 blocks.
Yeah, and we're looking through the deck here. You know, Brody is the type of player that is definitely able. He knows exactly what those 4 cards are most likely. This man memorizes entire pitch
It's pretty easy to
decks.
remember. I could maybe memorize 4 cards. Can't do 40. Sigil, all 3 have been played for Matt, so there's no way that there
Yeah,
is
I don't know if he played the 3rd one. Did he?
I think so.
He did?
Yeah, I would bet so.
We're going to activate Voltaire. 2 floating.
Fingers crossed for all the Brody fans at home. People in the chat think Matt didn't pay enough or something. It does not, says Eleanor. Taco Time needs to reread. Ah, he said, you right.
This is an infecting shot loaded into the arsenal. I'm going to assume with go again. So this one's coming in 4-5 with the go and then go again. This is going to take
use 2 cards.
2 cards out of the hand. This looks like this might be the turn.
Perfect
That
2
does it.
cards.
Load Voltaire again. Putting in. Here's that Sikkim shot. It already has to go again. So here's another 5.
Wow. Congratulations.
And that's going to do it as the final card left is the Bolton shot red.
The Rouse has come back to bite you in the ass.
So with is that how you really feel?
Yeah, that card is so good or so bad.
Brody Spurlock able to take the game over Matthew Vore. Oldhim is not taking down the battle-hardened Los Angeles. We did it, Blake.
We did it.
We did it.
Oh, wait. Oldhim goes out on his back. That's what I was going to say, no matter what happened. Oh, my God. What is going on over here? My microphone was... it was like I was slouching that whole game, ready for Oldhim to be over for forever.
So...
Na, 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 na. Na, 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 na.
So, I mean, not that we have any...
we get to see him play tomorrow on the AGE, but after that, he is gone.
So that was, that was the last time we're going to see the Grandfather of Eternity in these type of events for some time until the Living Legend format. Well played by Matthew
I'm not
Vore.
playing Living Legend format. I hope nobody likes that. I hope it never gets streamed. Stick to CC. Let's get some of these low-tier heroes going. For everybody that like, please just shut up and show us the top 8. Here it is.
Boom.
Jonathan takes down the #1 undefeated player. I'm Katsu. I wander wherever I want, bro. And then Majin Bay is going to get there. I guess he killed John Abanto. Kind of crazy because you have, like, what, 3 turns before that's over?
Yeah, so we've got a Katsu in the top 4. We've got a Kano in the top 4. And the other 2 matches, or the other 2 players, 2 Lexis. So even though there were 4 in the initial part of the top 8, only 2 made it to the quarterfinals. So, there's a chance we got Lexis in the finals, but there's a chance we're going to see other heroes.
Oh, there's no way. It could be Lexi. Fingers, I don't know what I'm rooting for. It is interesting. We have 2 people coming in here that people know. They're both in top 4. Good for them.
Yep.
Good for them. Can Anthony Pham defend the the Rose Parade spot. I don't know what is
Yeah.
what is this?
The
The
whole-
City of Roses.
The City of Roses. The City of
Yeah.
Angels.
Oh, I guess we're Battle Hardened in
Yeah.
Los Angeles, technically. We're going to go ahead and take a short break. We're going to say goodbye to you guys in a second. You're going to see the other guys.
Who we love.
We're going to go sit over there and be real annoying the whole time. And then we'll see you guys at top 8. Or what is it? Top finals.
Quarterfinals. See you soon. Don't go anywhere. More Flesh and Blood
Oh,
coming.
I can do that too?
Yeah, just give him a little. Yeah.
Short.
And here we are, everybody, coming to you live from the Pasadena Convention Center. It's time for Battle Hardened Los Angeles' semi-finals. That's right, we've whittled our field of 148 down to 4. And I've got to say, I'm pretty pleased with the diversity of top 8, especially after Lexi gets culled after that quarterfinal round. Mitch Leslie here, of course, with Taylor Morrow. And I've got a banger of a matchup here. 2 Californians going head-to-head here in this semi-finals. I'm really excited. It's going to be Caleb Van Patten, otherwise known as Margin Bay, representing NorCal. That's north. It's north of here. He's from Central Cal.
The Sacramento area, you know, we'll count it. We'll count it.
State capital and all that jazz. Of course,
Yeah,
up against
yeah.
Anthony Pham, who is a OC local. Great to be back here. And look, we're 2 fantastic people, great players as well. Margin Bay, a real lover of Wizard, right? You know, made his nationals qualification on Icelander, but had a love for Kano before he sort of came to the game. Really enjoyed that style of play. Anthony is someone I've known to kind of play a bit of everything, right? He's actually a huge Icelander aficionado.
Yeah,
really enjoyed the Icelander. He's the kind of player that will go to you know, the power decks, I think, when he possibly can. Let's not waste any time. Let's jump into this one as the players are preparing. This is obviously PTI on the line here. For either of these players, they probably have a stash of them, I think, at some point here. But yeah, great to see an all-Cali semi-final here. Of course, we have interloper Brody Spurlock on the other side in that other semi after downing Arizonan player Matthew Vore. And here we go.
Well, it looks like they took no time getting started here, and
Oh, goodness.
Majin Bay has already dealt 4 damage here and has whittled in a pretty crazy turn.
That's a lot of cards.
Yeah, totally. So he kind of went off there and taking Anthony down 9 health points.
Okay, so we obviously saw a 8th spindle with Crucible activation there, double Tome of Aetherwind thrown in there, and then yet another Wizard non-attack action thrown in. So,
Totally.
okay, pretty explosive way to start the game here. Obviously, Anthony on an arsenal, and we're going to have that premeditate coming out.
I guess also, too, I have to say that the attire from these 2 gentlemen are from America's 2 greatest pastimes, baseball and bowling from Anthony.
Okay,
So,
I wonder what Anthony's sort of
he's got
clothing
a
style was.
bowling shirt vibe here, so,
Very much so.
you know, it's great semifinals here. Very excited for it. Also interesting that they both are having sleeves of a different powerful hero, not the hero they are on.
That's
though.
right, yes. The chain sleeves from Anthony. Margin Bay, of course, with his beloved Icelander representing here. So this is a 3-card block into the buffed Heat Seeker.
Yep, making sure we don't get that Ponder token or the Heat Seeker trigger. Too good.
Ah,
Following up here with Falcon Wing.
yeah, maybe not what Margin Bay expected to see at that end of the chain here, but it does allow Anthony to chime in with a little bit of extra pressure on the Kano player who was holding onto a potion of deja vu. And obviously will take the damage from that Falcon Wing to deploy the said potion and bust turn.
Did he forget to take his tunic right there? Or maybe not?
I think
it should be.
no, I think that was his turn too.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Just
It was
happened
his
so
turn too.
quick.
Because I think what Margin Bay did was on sort of, yeah, Anthony went first, Arsenal that card. Margin Bay has his turn, the damage turn, back to Anthony. And we're good to go, so. Should be no concerns there. Yeah, I guess
Oh, no.
Anthony Pham is, like it's been pointed out in the chat, right? Like, not a lot of AB here. He really just wants to
Yeah, exactly. This is
bash his face in.
This is a race for sure here, and you know it's hard when Majin Bay has a energy potion in hand and another Tome of Findal, so not a ton of blocking here, and it can be pretty challenging as Kano when you're facing down hit effects, draw effects, and damage in particular. I don't know if you know this, Uber, but the way you win the game is by dealing damage.
I play Dory, so I don't win. So didn't know that, but
Yeah.
good to know.
Yep.
Okay, so Remorseless gets Snapdragoned here, and the Rain Razors comes out
Right.
as an attack reaction as well. Extra damage here. I suppose that on-hit effect from Remorseless, sort of every time there's an action card played by the opponent on the next turn, they lose a life. Probably not super relevant here, but hey, that's a relevant effect. It's a bolt and shot with Rain Razors buff.
Yep. It is. So it has go again here, threatening a reload, but we still have 2 resources floating, so might not even need the reload. It's just damage at this point. And hopefully Majin, who, spoilers, I'm rooting for, because he lives closer to me and, is a very nice dude. Got a well-groomed beard there. He hopefully he gets the win here.
Definitely, yeah, adding to his strength of character as an individual, I see.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely.
Anthony, someone I've played so many armories with, never paired into him. Never once paired into Anthony, but he's absolutely local for me. So I'll take the other side of the table here.
Okay, great, perfect.
So far, it's looking pretty good. I mean, we're definitely going to start to throw a couple of these arrows down the throat of Margin Bay. Maybe another turn of unfettered damage from Anthony before he really has to start batting the hatch here or making something happen himself. Card and Arsenal, Blazing Aether in hand, though.
Ooh,
Like an Aether Flare as well, perhaps? Findle? Yeah.
Yep. And I just saw Anthony's hand. He has a Codex of Inertia.
Oh, that's a nice one.
That's going to be rather upsetting for Majin here. If the card in Arsenal is one of his combo pieces, he will have to either cast it or pray he gets another one later.
Taking the damage.
Yep, so he could reload the Codex here if he really wanted to, but nope.
Endless Arrow.
We're going to put Endless Arrow in there.
And he had a Voltaire activation, right? So wouldn't it be better to give Endless go again? Oh, I guess it doesn't really matter, really. The Codex can stay, so.
I think he did give it go again because he has Razors, and it looks like he's going in for
gotcha.
6, so
Yeah.
it does have...
Was it reloaded or put in by Voltaire, though?
Unsure.
Yeah.
It happened very quickly. He didn't tick up the Voltaire die, but he did tick down his 2 resources, so I
Right.
think he just missed that bit of, what's the word for that?
Sequencing the game actions. He's
Yeah,
took some
totally.
shortcuts.
Yeah, and is not particularly representing the accuracy of the board state. There
Right.
we go. We got there.
He's representing 6 damage, and that
True.
Endless Arrow coming right back to his hand here. So this is...
Yep, especially with Bullseye Bracers up, it could be 12 damage, but then you forego all Arcane Barrier.
I mean, Margin Bay not blocking yet at all this turn. Not a little bit. Definitely hoping to, again, because he's got like some gas in his hand as opposed to just coming off the top of the deck. So might be hoping to make use of his turn to, like Aether Flare in there or make something happen, or at least start to chip Anthony Pham down a little further.
Yeah,
He ticked down a resource, so let's go again from Voltaire. Thank you, Michael. Nice to see you in the chat.
if he does have Wildfire, well, it would be hard to play the, I guess you could Ragamuffins it. If I don't know. If he has Wildfire in Arsenal, he does kind of, maybe he can find a way to get the Aether Flare off as well and the Blazing Aether, and that would be, as I like to say, a buttload of damage.
Shout out to Matt McInnes, mentioning that maybe going across the country for Battle Hardened is a word for people, but you did talk some smack on SoCal on occasion, so eventually you're going to have to come down and have a tete-a-tete with this, my friend. All right.
Things are happening. Pitching 5 resources for perhaps a Kano activation. And he's committed. We're going to see what happens here. Oh, it's a
Aether
blue.
Flare as well, yeah, going into the pitch zone. So we be looking, we be digging.
The nice thing is about this,
Hold on, this is
he's going for it.
This is actually potentially very dangerous. The potion, the potion of deja vu. Like he has the top of his deck basically set up here.
Yeah.
Ragamuffins hat.
Let's see if so is he going to go Aether Flare into Tome?
One of these cards is going into his hand off the Ragamuffins. I think it's setting the blazing maybe back on top.
I think he's, and getting another blue. And now he can banish the Blazing and then the Tome. And he
Okay.
still has 2 resources floating here.
Here comes the Tome.
And then one of those is another blue
Yep.
from the Epot. And then mystery card, Scalding Rain, it looks like. And according to his deck list, I believe that's a blue Scalding Rain.
Another look on top. Scalding Rain.
He does run 1 red Scalding Rain, but I'm assuming it's going to be a blue here.
Hang on. Hey, the booties are off. It is business time. Storm Strider's activation here for Margin Bay. He thinks he has it. That's quite something.
Or at least he has enough to where he can't be killed by Anthony, or else Anthony will die.
Here's the Wildfire with Crucible.
So coming in for 5 damage here.
Metacarpus node.
Trigger Metacarpus node, so
Right.
6 damage. Only can block 1, takes 5, so
I mean,
everything else is going to get +5.
6. Scalding Rain. Then into Blazing. Anthony is face up here. Can't do much about this at all. Metacarpus node trigger. You better believe I'll take that one as well.
6 more damage.
Yeah, make
7
that
damage.
7 here, and this is very frightening indeed. Anthony's going to have to take all of this. The Blazing Aether stands to come in for. I mean, Metacarpus node sort of activation here as well. Give me the dice, Margin Bay. Give me the dice.
Yeah, let's do the math here. 33 damage total, I think, lethal.
Yeah, Anthony goes to check his pad here.
And he can't kill Majin here. Oh, yeah. you gotta
That's
do
it. He's got him. Unbelievable.
There it is.
Caleb Van Patten. It's a perfect 10 from the judges there. What a line.
Incredible.
Had the Wildfire in Arsenal, of course. He needed, that sort of bridge card, of course. The Scalding Rain was good enough. The 3 resources there, of course, with the triple Metacarpus node activations. That was after, of course, he put his entire pitch zone back on top of the deck. So he knew essentially what he was drawing into.
Yeah.
What a showing. And that sends him straight into our grand final.
Awesome job, Majin Bay. Incredible, too, that he took a lot of damage to set up that Potion of Deja Vu, knowing that it was going to be a really powerful tool for him to be able to manipulate the cards he's drawing earlier than having to kind of draw into it naturally. So great heads-up play there. And what I love about Kano is the creativity that people who play Kano then exert at the game. And that was just a great example of that, finding the line, finding the right amount of damage to take Anthony out. So incredible job by Majin Bay in the finals.
And again, I think the Potion of Deja Vu, pretty important component of that. I think it didn't really personally start to occur. Wait a minute.
Did we
Was
do
he
it
not? Was
wrong?
he short on damage?
I think he is short on
Oh,
1.
my God.
Take down your life totals, people.
Oh, I've done it again to him. That's the second time we've done that to Margin Bay. Yeah, it wasn't that. Yeah, okay. So we saw we saw what, 5 damage, then 7, then the Blazing. I mean, that's just maths. I can't believe I've done it to him again. Oh.
So Endless is lethal.
Yep.
Shoots Endless. He can't block it. Lives at 1 life. Bullseye bracers because it goes this. Yeah.
Wow,
yeah.
talk about skipping steps.
Yeah, okay. Cool. Great.
It's Majin's fault.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the +1 off the braces, right? That means he has lethal damage.
Yeah, totally.
Well. So,
I don't think
as we were saying,
I don't think they're going to see us on stream anymore.
Anthony
We're ending
Pham.
on a strong note.
Look, I mean, yeah, obviously, couple steps skipped there for us, but I mean, yeah, imagine a little bit short on the damage. I guess that Blazing wasn't going to quite get in there. Too much coming on in. My God, I thought, yeah, I need to go back and study my Kano lines, apparently.
Well, great. We now know also that bowling shirt's more powerful than baseball jerseys.
Yeah. It was just short, right? It was just short. I reckon that would have pulled him, was that 1 damage short?
I think because he had a yellow, I think, at the end. Yeah, because Codex of Inertia is a yellow. So he blocks 1 extra damage.
Well.
So there it is. Lives at 1.
Yep. The miscount. The miscount. You send me a text, Tanner. Don't be he's like, the other guy won, by the way. Oh, goodness. Call the finals on the chat. You know what? No. Thank you. Oh, good. All right. Well, Anthony Pham there, getting himself into that grand final. I mean, I
Even
don't know.
better.
I don't know either way. But that's so funny. Yeah.
All the things I said are true.
Yeah.
Except for who won.
That's fine. You know what I mean? Give him more Kano games. We're eventually going to get there. Yeah, so you're 5%. Yeah. Just 1 life there. Pretty, I mean, very, very tight sort of endgame scenario. But again, Bullseye braces up, being able to throw that endless area back in again. That would have been huge. I wonder, yeah, I think there's actually quite a few different ways that last turn could have gone. Really interesting, though. And I thought, yeah, as soon as I saw the Potion of Deja Vu pop, thought it was over. But that means we have at least 1 Lexi in our finals here. Kano not quite able to get there, which is Obviously, a huge shame. We have quite a few players turn up here that maybe sort of didn't quite make it top 8. Fabtcg, I think, bubbled out there a little bit.
Yep.
Pete Budensik, I think, had a bit of a rough time between his second round and his 7th, so didn't quite get there. But yeah, I mean, I'm very curious now to see if we get like a Aleximir in the final, really technical kind of matchup, or if our Katsu. Remember, you know, we thought it might have been a win and in for our Katsu player. He lost. He's still able to get in. I think it's 6-2. Be fun to see. I think, Jonathan, get through.
Yep.
We've got the deck lists here.
Jonathan.
Yep.
Yep, he's on Katsu. Do we have any confirmation on how that other game is going here? It's going. That's what we know.
Okay.
Which that's to be expected from the other game.
Yeah, we've sent Sam over now. He's a runner, so he's going to run back every time anyone takes damage in that game, and he's going to allow us to give you an update. No. Again, yeah, we can take a short break. Again, quickly talk about the meta breakdown here. No surprise, see Lexi making her way comfortably over here into this final match in the hands of Anthony Pham. Oldhim not quite getting there, so 34-40. So still, it's going to be a longer game. So we can go to a break for a moment, ladies and gentlemen. So sit tight, of course, and more coverage here from your Battle Hardened Los Angeles. Of course, that grand final is looming large while we wait for a second semi to resolve. See you in a bit.
grabbing key class cards that could benefit you going along the way. The other side of this, too, is something we talked about in the last segment where we pondered together, but it was me and Blake.
So by together, you mean...
Or was it Blake? It was Josh. I think it was Josh, yeah.
So by together, you mean definitively not us.
Well, if you go watch this, go back and watch the segment, you could be a part of it.
Okay, cool.
But the other thing being that the 2 token slots and the 14 cards that we're drafting rather than traditional 15 cards, I think does also impact.
Yeah, for sure.
The ability to stay open, how long you stay open, and what that actually looks like. So, I think, I'm kind of like a pragmatist or purist about this. I'm like, I want to draft my seat. I want to try.
So you want you want to be open for as long as you can be, so you can read the signals.
Yeah.
And you're finding that to be not as easy as you want to be, or
I think and this is limited data. I'm doing this on. I tried to stay really open.
Data.
In
come on.
Boom, that was unintentional. I'm basing this off of a couple drafts where I was really trying to do that, and I read my seat very well. The last draft we did, it was 6 people, which I think also it was also weird. I think that throws in some other kind of issues that may have contributed to this, but we had 2 of each hero and 1 of it.
All right, we're back with Anthony Pham, first time Lexi, in the finals. How do you feel?
I feel great. I was actually not qualified for Nats because I only played 2 and I didn't top 8 either. So
hey, my brother,
and I'm probably using it for Nats. Really excited for Monarch draft.
Yeah, Monarch is awesome. How much have you drafted Monarch?
Almost 0.
Oh.
So yeah.
Okay.
Excited to learn about Monarch.
You got a lot to learn. You guys should listen to the podcast when we put out an episode.
Sounds good.
Shameless plug there. So walk us through the end game there.
Okay.
So you don't know this, but me and professional esports caster Mitch Leslie messed up the end of that game, and we
It
were.
was a little fast. I
It was
played
a little fast.
Yeah.
So we were under the impression that you.
I got blown up.
Well, yeah, potentially, but that you had used both of your Voltaire activations, but you did not. So you got to shoot endless arrow 3 times. So walk me through that.
So the setup turn before, he blocked my arrow for 8. So I didn't want to shoot Remorseless because I wanted to save the bigger arrow. So I shot for a Falcon Wing to ponder, and I pondered into, I forget what I pondered into. But I don't know, it was a bolt and shot yellow. And then I drew up, it was Rain Razor's Endless Arrow, Codex of Inertia, and the blue pitch card. So I led off with the Remorseless, and then he decided to go off, and we just traded health. And then basically at the end, I activated Voltaire for the first time with Endless Arrow Go again for 6, and then that's when he went off. So I only had 1 activation of Voltaire left, and I had 1 floating with a yellow pitch in hand. So if he was to let it hit, my plan was to basically get Endless back in hand, activate Voltaire again, go again, hit again, and then Bullseye Bracer for the last kill.
Gotcha.
So that was basically 6, 6, 7. So that was my plan, and I just needed to live through the combo.
Right.
So he full comboed out to start the Endless. So basically he's saying that I'm not going to block this Endless. So basically, if I was able to live with 1 resource to use for the activation of Voltaire, I could kill him.
Right.
And I pitched 2 with my Codex of Inertia to save 1, and I lived at 1 health.
Yep.
And I kind of played the end fast because I got the Endless back, Voltaire, shoot again, and then get it back, Bullseye, yeah.
Gotcha.
So I played a little fast at the end, but
Yeah.
it
No
was
worries.
understood. We were kind of just waiting on that Oldham game forever, so we were just kind of jittering, trying to get it done fast. Yeah.
Yeah, and if anybody's looking for an update for that game, last time I heard, Brody Spurlock has taken 0 damage, so we got a long game
Yeah.
ahead of us. Well, how familiar were you with Kano as Lexi going into that? Because I can see that your deck list only has AB1.
Yeah, so Heart of Ice is like a very common like hate tool for Kano. But my deck is kind of not very high on the blues. I'm only at 16.
Yeah.
Some people have 17, 18.
Yeah.
So Heart of Ice is hit or miss because it is sometimes just wasting a resource too. The AB2 is nice, but I feel like I just like had a minimized deck list, not really expecting any Kano.
Yeah.
But I played Kano at the Pro Tour. So I know a little bit about all the lines and stuff. We practice a lot against Lexi. So I know the reverse side of the matchup and how it can be very, very coin flippy.
Yeah.
I decided to go second to try to get tempo. And hopefully he didn't have a good first turn, but he kind of went off there.
Kind of did, yeah. You
I was
kind of
at
took
we,
9
we
to
were
the face
basically
there.
both at 30
Yeah.
to start, so it was kind of scary. But I'm glad I got there with the Remorseless load. Remorseless
Yeah.
is so good in the matchup. It's every time he plays a card, it's 1 health. So
Yeah,
it's really good. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. That is awesome. Extra value.
Exactly.
As they say. Chat would like to point out that you look very handsome in your bowling shirt. So.
Thank you. Yeah.
Very
Hey,
true.
shout out to all my bowlers out there. Where you toss it as hard as you can, or if you flick it and have some skill with it, whatever you do, bowling's for everyone. So
Yeah.
hey,
Over the line.
exactly. No bumpers, guys. No
Mark at
bumpers.
0.
No bumpers.
You're out of your element.
It's okay to not have good games, guys. It's okay.
I actually went bowling recently. So do you actually bowl? Is that why you?
I
have
bowl from time to time. Yes.
Okay,
It's
yeah.
this shirt is not because I bowl.
Oh,
It is
okay.
more.
Fashion.
It's more fashion.
Yeah,
Yeah. I
yeah.
just say it's a bowling shirt because it just really looks like a bowling shirt.
Yeah.
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 I don't know why. My mom got it for me.
It's
so.
great. So tell me how the rest of the tournament has gone for you, other than obviously this incredible game.
Yeah, I was doing really well. I basically was kind of cruising through the thing. I had some close games. Shout out to Zach, draw my player. That was so close. I knew I had an arrow on top, but it came down to Rain Razors, and I was gonna die next turn, but I hit the quiver and I hit the 1-cost arrow. So
Hell
really
yeah.
close game there. But I was cruising through. I lost. My only loss in Swiss was to Alexi Mir. Really good, the top seed. He did really well. And yeah, I think Lexi just had a really good day with Lexi. I saw everything I needed to see through. Kinds were all good. So yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, when you're hot, you're hot.
Yeah.
So
You're drawing well. You're drawing well.
yeah, awesome. Well, congratulations.
Thank you,
And,
thank you.
Chat, do you have any questions here for Anthony? before
Shout
we
out
let him
moms.
go?
Shout out moms indeed, Aiden. Shout out moms.
Hell yeah, and the single ones too.
and the single ones.
Yeah, especially
Yeah,
those.
Shout out to single moms. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. We have a delay here, so we'll have to wait. We have to vamp now.
Okay.
That's what we call it. We call it
Okay.
vamping.
Still shout out to the single moms.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
Yeah. So regardless of delay or not. Single moms, taking moms, all of them.
Awesome. Okay, well, how do you fill your time when you're not just shooting arrows into everybody and turn them into pin?
I roll dice with KO.
Oh,
Yeah, and
sick.
Blitz, so that's cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
A man of taste.
Yeah,
Culture.
exactly. Yeah.
Awesome.
KO, not K-no. Okay.
Right. Yeah, I know. I heard it.
Yeah.
Awesome. So sweet.
Sweet.
Okay. Well, I guess nobody's got any questions. They're just
No question.
they're just
Shout out
pumping you up.
moms.
Yeah, there you go. Sheesh. Okay,
Sheesh, indeed.
that's it. Anybody
Alright.
want to ask him anything else? No? Nobody? Brody's going to take 100 years in his game, so
Who's blocking? Math is for blockers. Don't block, guys. Don't block.
you heard it here.
Math
All
is-
right. Thanks, everybody, and thank you, Anthony. Good luck.
Thank you.
I'm rooting for you.
Yeah, thank you, man.
All right. Goodbye.
Two of each class, one of every hero.
Wow.
And I was just like, dude, we did it, guys.
Yeah.
Like, we drafted perfectly. And then I just had the crappiest Benji deck, which, is probably more of a me problem. But
No.
I have seen better players who have been talking about,
Yeah.
staying open. What does that mean? Is it actually a thing? Or, is it more correct to, pick those powerful class cards and go into a class quickly so that you can kind of gobble those up, and then later when people stop taking generics, you can get some good generics too.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't have any good answers. I think this is also interesting because it kind of pivots into a lot of talk of the kind of collation issues between the Belgium and Japanese packs and what they're going to do at the Pro Tour.
Well, don't ask them because they're not going to tell us.
I mean, honestly, I think that was a great response. They're like, we're gonna do this. We're gonna give you something and trust us. It's fine. And everyone's
with
like,
it.
well, it's not fair. This is the most fair because the only edge you get is how good you are at quickly reading packs and paying attention to your draft pool.
Yeah.
So I think that's great. If you're going to the Pro Tour, you should be pretty good at drafting. So, if you're worried about not being able to memorize the exact, pack layout, and that's the only thing that's really contributing. I mean, that's not the only thing. I'm being a bit glib about that, but it is what it is. But I think I think it will be interesting. I'm excited. I was talking about this earlier. I'm really excited to see the Pro Tour limited play and what people do if we see any real archetypes form up. And I don't know. But again, all this is just me and my silly opinions, thoughts. But thank you. I think that's all we got today for pondering with yours truly. Sam, thank you for coming on this thoughtful journey.
It was an honor to pond with you, sir. I've never ponded so hard in my life.
I feel like I've entered a Zen state and will just not take any damage for the rest of my life.
Wow. Could we be so lucky?
All right, we'll be back in a few minutes. We're taking a short break.
Round 5 coming right up.
All right, we'll be right back. Match. I had a great time. We chatted with Feiyu. He's just out here chunking damage on people, and you know what? That's fine. It's just how it goes some days.
He said, "Get ready for some more. There's 2 more rounds of this." He's like, "I already got $50, but I want the other 350 coming my way."
He's probably locked in. We're doing 5 rounds, so he's 3-0. So he's probably locked in for top 8, which I'm very excited about. So Kano probably wins today. Just gonna say that now.
Hell yeah.
Why not? Unless he plays Jomai, and then we're just going to have to keep that lucky streak going. I don't know what
Can you
to say about
imagine
that.
being Alexander Vor? You whatever. I don't know if he drove or flew, but you come on over to California. Somebody wins the tournament you're in as Kano, and you're like, I didn't play Kano, but somebody won as Kano. Yeah.
These are the choices we all have to make before every single tournament. Unless you're just Craig, who plays Oldhim every time, you're actually thinking, should I play somebody else? And that's why I envy people who just specialize in one thing, and I'm just over here
Being bad at
putzing
7
around.
decks.
Yeah, being bad at 7 decks instead of good at 1. So we got a special segment coming up. It's one of my favorites. I'm sure it's one of Blake's favorites. You know it. You love it. It's
called-
Barraging Blake.
Oh.
It's the
Hell
beatdown
yeah.
on Blake time. We're going to have some fun. We're going to talk about some things. And
And Trent's going to talk about Guardian cards in the chat and not pay attention to what's going on at all, That's
he might
how
be
it works.
he might be in the past. So, he's watching the game.
I just realized I'm not watching live. Well, we're going to know that
Shout out to
happened,
Trent.
and everyone else at home that's watching this later will have no clue.
He's going to find out where we're at. But here we are, Barraging Blake.
Time to give me the stroke that takes me out forever.
Let's
Here
have
we
some
go.
fun. What's our first topic today? All right, a pre-release report, Blake. How was
Oh, how did my
pre-release for
pre-release
you at
go?
Outsiders? I don't know how mine went. Wasn't great. How about you?
Okay, I don't know where this is getting at, but I went to two pre-releases, one on a Friday night.
Yep. Right here at Odyssey
Oh,
Games.
this is what we're getting at. One on a Saturday. It's sealed both times. This
Yep.
isn't the draft thing that we're talking about. My 6-packs, super excited. I got my cold foil tokens. Down and dirty was my majestic.
Ooh.
That's
Ooh.
gonna not do anything for you. As we were doing it, it was like, okay, I have played Arachne. I know how this works. I'm gonna play solitary confinement Arachne. I'm gonna take these people to the cleaners. I'm gonna win this. I'm taking
Win
Friday
this
night
game.
seriously. And then I play against somebody in round 1, and I was taking it seriously, and I was like, they were like, I'm gonna Spider's Bite because I forgot, and I was like, I'm good on that, because that Spider Bite is gonna own me. And then they were like, all right, I'm gonna rage quit and get out of here. And I was like, oh no, that's not great. Like, but then I played Craig in round 2.
Is that really what happened?
Well,
You know what? If you miss something and your opponent doesn't allow you to happen, you have to live up with that because it was your mistake.
oh well, now we're piling on.
No, I'm just saying that, and it goes both ways. Because if you
Yeah.
let them do it and then you lose because of it,
Then I
that was
feel
your
bad,
choice.
Yeah.
you know, and you put that by asking someone to do that, you put that on them. And
Yeah.
I feel very strongly about this that you probably shouldn't ask unless it's like low stakes. If it's just a regular armory,
But this is a cold foil Uzuri, man.
we're playing for
This
it.
is a
I
cold
won
foil
mine in the
Uzuri.
raffle, so I was
Get
fine.
out of here! If you're gonna play sloppy offense and sloppy, I didn't even know I was sweating that bad. Oh
Hey,
my
look,
God.
it's
like this from now on.
getting down and
So,
dirty in it.
We're getting on a tangent. So basically, then I beat Craig,
Ooh,
and
you
it was
beat
like this is the
Craig.
first time I ever beat Craig in my life. And once again, it was one of those 3 times where when I beat somebody, they go, "What the hell just happened? This is not supposed to be true," and I need to reevaluate my entire life. So Craig is never gonna not play Pile Arachne for his whole time because he looked over at my deck. He had there's like 17 cards in my graveyard, and he was like, "Okay, I got him on the ropes." There was still 24 cards in my graveyard when he did this.
Oh my
And
god.
he was like, "Oh my gosh." Yeah, Marcus Brown, like yeah, it's pre-release, it's still casual area. I don't want to lose to people casually though. I want to if you're playing sloppy
It
offense,
is still
you're
your
playing
choice. You're
sloppy
not.
defense,
You're
yeah.
not. It's not your responsibility to allow other people to
Right.
make mistakes and get away with it. Like,
And then
you
I
don't
lost
have to do it.
I lost game 3 and 4 and it was awful and I was like, get me out of here.
It happens.
There was no point of
It happens.
being
It's casual,
aggro.
but if you're trying to win a prize, then you don't have to give people advantages when they make a mistake.
outsider report. What we're trying to say is I spent
Look, we're
$80.
both mad about this.
$80. I got 2 Majestics, an Infiltrate, and a Down and Dirty. No legendaries, no nothing. Ruined relationships for years. Got late to the thing. Woke up, was tired. Got an ear infection afterwards. Just
Jeez.
everything bad happened at pre-release where I'm like, I don't know if I'll ever do this again. But I love pre-release. But maybe I'll never do this again. Maybe I'll wait until the,
But I
the
love it.
cards come out. But this is so fun. And it wasn't that fun or whatever, but
Welcome to the chat.
yeah.
You know, it's fine. Pre-release is tough because sometimes you go and you buy some packs and you open a Fable and your life feels amazing. and
Fable
other
opened
times-
up next to me.
Oh my god.
Evan got a legendary.
Yeah, we had like 3 or
Somebody
4
else got a legendary
legendaries.
that I was like, oh
It's just
god,
like-
not this guy.
It's always it's always the bridesmaid, never the bride when it
Yeah.
comes to pre-release. Am I right?
Marcus is keeping us honest. Whoa, loud noises. Yes, somebody showed up for the first time in 3 months I've seen them and dropped 5 chairs literally 3 feet that way. After begging them to come hang out on Tuesdays when there's 25 people, can't make it there, but I'm going to come and just drop a whole bunch of like full-on metal chairs from the WWE as loud as possible on stream.
I mean, you
Right.
you are the heel in this situation,
Okay,
right?
we're going to zoom through these next 3 unless
go.
it's
We
something
both-
really bad.
We both barraged on that one.
Yeah.
Let's see. What's our next topic?
It's
It's the Ice Brute Hero. Rhino,
oh my
Reckless,
god. That didn't even make sense for a second. Ice Brood Hero is not even worth talking about. Okay, so Ice Brood
I don't
Hero.
know what it is. Tell me what it is.
Ice Brood Hero is never going to happen.
Aw,
And
come
everyone
on.
being like, Ice Brood Hero, oh my god, I can't wait for that. Intimidate and Frostbite do not go together. There's nothing that synergizes with that. And you could say, well, that's how Brute cards goes. They don't synergize with each other. I get that argument.
That's the class design.
But if you look at Tales of Aria, are there more 6s and buffs in Ice, Lightning, or Earth? Oh, Earth. How much Ice is in Reinar's card art right there? 0. How much Earth is in his card art?
Yeah, but
100.
he's not the ice hero.
Right.
It would be a different
So
ice.
you okay? So of all the cards that Ryan, what is his name? Ice Brood Hero. Let's call him Ice B.
Ice Bee.
No, let's call him Yeti or something. So
Oh, yeah, he
Yeti,
definitely would be a Yeti,
Yeti
yeah.
can use Channel Lake Frigid. Why would you want them to? Oh, you can't block from hand.
And you
It
have
doesn't
now
affect
cards
them.
you can pitch. You have more cards
Doesn't
to
affect
pitch.
them. It's like Channel Bleak Expanse doesn't work for Brute. What would that do for you?
Roll them dice, though. Find out.
Hypothermia's bust the 08, can't use it. Ice Amulet 08. Like Ice Amulet is like an intimidate, but it's an actual good intimidate. Maybe that's the first argument. You would have to completely make 6 more of those. The Winter's Visit or some bull. All the 6 ice cards from, I don't even know what these cards are called. Tales of Aria. The ones no one used. Winter's Fang or something.
Oh, yeah. What's it? Frostfang.
Frostfang. Everyone in there that uses these cards is like, duh. Yeah, Frostfang doesn't work with barraging, like, all those ice attacks that we're talking about would not work with any of the cards that is currently in the thing. And you're like, yes, you would make new ones.
What if you could
Channel Mount Heroic, barraging.
intimidate all their cards and then give them like 8 frostbites and deal a bunch of damage? Then they have all their cards but can't do anything.
There's no way anyone behind me would play a deck different than that. Then it would just be 36 people playing Yeti meta.
So it'd basically be a better old him is what we're
Yeah,
deciding
and it's
right
like,
now.
do you want? Oh, the Ice Brute is old him, and we just gave him a shield. Like we've already seen that. Like cheering for Ice Brute doesn't make sense. You don't understand the cards of Brute and how they are. A better
Nobody
thing would be
understands the
Earth
cards of
Brute, where we could Blood Rush Bellow into a Channel Mount Heroic and just do 37 damage in one turn, and we set up for that the whole time. When we Force of Nature, but we can't use that because it's a specialization.
What about a light brute?
Next slide. Let's go.
Here we
It's
go.
not worth talking. Light Brute?
Yeah, man.
Soul Shield? Buyouts? I don't even know about buyouts. Like, buyouts?
What are buyouts?
What is buyouts? So we got, I didn't do the research on Salty Whale. So what's interesting about buyouts is you're buying cards, then they're out.
And now we can't get
people
those
can't
cards.
get them, and it's like, okay, that's what we're talking about. So it's like,
We found the
what
thread.
team are you on? I think this is not barraging Blake down right now. This is a morality question for you. Would you
Welcome to late stage capitalism
would
where
you-
morality no longer exists.
right? Would you rather have one person make a bunch of money, or
Mhm.
every person have access to card?
Uh,
If you say, I prefer money for my pocket over community get card, you deserve leg broke. And that's serious. Like, we're going to grow the community. We're going to grow my wallet. Some of y'all care about growing the wallet. And it is something where it's like, I'm going to root against you for the rest of my life. And like, oh, but Blake, your collection went 1.3 since last year. I'm not selling my cards. I play cards. I don't sell cards. I don't work at Frank's Sons. I don't do any of this.
yeah, I'm not Frank. I'm not his son.
Yeah. And it's like, I honestly, like, this is not spicy, but this is a scoop here, and they're going to know who it is, but whatever. Don't buy a pack of Alpha. Welcome to Wraith for any price less than like $50, because the people who are you are just building up money in somebody's pocket and they're just sitting on stuff. I know you probably want a pack of a chance to get a legendary. Don't buy a pack of Welcome to Wraith for $100 when you're in Baltimore because you want to get a chance at it's not going to happen for you. Oh, I can get a cold foil scavenge. Not
Just buy a bunch of scratchers and then
come
use
on.
the profit
Go play
from
poker if you want to make money on a card game.
That's true.
Why are you I think one thing that buyouts are doing that I really hate about this is I am encouraging people to join this community and join this card game. And whenever you say, don't worry, tunics are $375. Like, you're just like, Jesus. They used to be $110. I get that there's more players. But like when somebody says, oh, I opened up a tunic, great. I can sell this to someone for almost $400. It's kind of gross because I'm not trying to be charity where we give these cards away to new players, but it is kind of like a homie discount type of thing, or welcome to the community. Here's a tunic for $150, $170, like a price I've paid in the past. I'm not saying lose $200 on this because it's market value, but when we run ourselves out of players that come into this game because it's so expensive, we're all going to be looking at each other 2 years from now being like, I wish we were playing more Flesh and Blood. And then the 16 people that have mansions will have mansions.
Just Scrooge McDucking their cards in their giant vault filled with cold foils. You know, I think this just, reiterates the truth of Tunic was a mistake.
Right.
And the biggest mistake that they can undo in this game.
Right. And it's maybe like sell your tunic now because they're going to ban it soon
you
or
make
whatever.
money, man.
But I think if I can soliloquy and aside or go on a tangent here, this is kind of like LeBron James.
Oh, it is exactly why.
LeBron James showed up to the NBA, and the NBA worked a different way before LeBron James showed up. You play for an entire franchise until they get you better players. And then when you get a better player, a second in command, you probably win. But he was like, I don't want to wait for that. I'm going to go do this on my own. Super teams exist whenever. Yeah, there's the Showtime Lakers that had a super team before, blah, blah, blah. But he was like, I'm going to make super teams, and I'm making the NBA cater to my stuff because I'm buying out. Like, it behooves the NBA to cater to me because I'm the star player. Star players in our community is people who have a bunch of money. But once LeBron plays for 20 years, and then he ruins the NBA where it caters to him, and then what's left after LeBron retires of now everyone's just used to super teams, and now we don't have the NBA like we used to.
You lost me at sports.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
But I will agree that I don't like buyouts, and I think if cards have value, they will have value intrinsically and don't need to be forced by buying them out, making it harder for new players. I think, it's hard enough to get new players into this game. We'll be talking about that a little bit later. And it doesn't really help. And if you're trying to make money, that's great. Go do it somewhere else.
I haven't completely rolled my eyes on any of these topics yet, so I'm very worried for what's about to happen next.
It's fine. I just like that I've been hot and heavy with you in it.
Yes.
We're feeling it today. This is barraging
the double-sided beatdown.
Blake and Colin down.
Yeah.
Let's see what we got. Okay, In-N-Out is better than Whataburger. I've had both. I've had one Whataburger.
What are you about to say, Colin?
I love In-N-Out.
Well, that's very diplomatic, I guess.
I feel like Whataburger had all these choices, and I didn't know what to do, and it was just like, okay, I got it.
Which at In-N-Out, they eliminate choices.
There's no choice. You get it animal style every time.
Yeah. We'll give you the only thing we have.
What is your opinion here?
It's interesting here. In-N-Out is better than Whataburger.
Is that
allegedly?
What you're saying?
No, that is what this screen says.
This screen right here.
This screen right here. In-N-Out is better than Whataburger. These are two things. Whataburger hands down in the chat. That's the first time someone said anything. I'm from Texas, and Whataburger is my what a burger. What a burger. Like the commercials, you don't have the whole thing. In-N-Out commercial. What's your favorite In-N-Out commercial?
The one that
doesn't exist.
In and out.
That's what. Oh, actually, I guess it does exist.
It's
I
a-
like.
they
I
do
like
radio
In-N-Out better now.
commercials, You know, I don't know why that's what their burgers are all about, though.
So Whataburger has the nostalgia for me. I'm from
Okay,
Texas.
that's fair. That's fair. Texas.
Ingredients, better ingredients, better burgers. Maybe that's at In-N-Out. But there's only one thing you can get at In-N-Out. Do you want a burger? They literally say, do you want onions? Do you not want onions? Do you want cheese? Do you not want cheese? That's it.
No,
That's
you get
all
animal
they
style
do.
with grilled onions. It's grilled with mustard on it, extra sauce, extra pickles.
Right. At Whataburger, they're
all I
putting A1 steak sauce on your burger.
Gross.
At Whataburger, oh, gross.
A1 steak sauce goes on
delicious.
steak, bro. What are you talking about?
Okay, so if we're gonna brass taxes, Whataburger, nostalgia for me because
That's
I
fine.
grew up there.
Yep.
In-N-Out is very good. Whataburger I can get out of in 4 minutes. In-N-Out it takes an hour and a half, and like that doesn't make the burgers worse. I get it, but it's like it's a chore to go to In-N-Out. Like somebody was like, it literally happened Friday after pre-release. Let's go to In-N-Out afterwards. I was like, great. I could really eat a burger that tastes worse than Whataburger. And I was like, we went over there. We drove over there. The line was packed completely out the box because people love In-N-Out. But I think if there was a Whataburger option here, some of y'all would be split down the middle. Whataburger is like charbroiled or whatever. In-N-Out is like grilled. There's a little bit of a difference. Whataburger is like what Burger King could taste like if it was a smaller chain. Of like, do you like the style of Burger King? You're going to go, no, I vastly prefer McDonald's. But what if Burger King was a better burger and that's Whataburger? And you're just like, oh, okay. Shakes, they had a Dr. Pepper milkshake. They've got
I don't know what that means.
taquito. Oh, my goodness. Honey butter chicken biscuit alone dunks on anything on In-N-Out. So I didn't even have
What
to
does it have to do
mention
with burgers?
But it doesn't say better burger. It says is better than Whataburger.
There you go. There you go. Okay.
Unless we're doing literally In-N-Out burger is
caught me on
better
a
than what a
technicality.
burger.
Look, is there a world where
So Whataburger is just Carl's. I swear to God.
is there a world where burgers can just be enjoyed from different places without having to be so on a tier list?
I do think people do the whole like let me choke you out. And this is the end of Battle Hardened Los Angeles. If you were betting against Brody Spurlock, why?
Why?
Because he has defeated the Katsu that was against him. It's interesting. I know a lot about Anthony. He's the Honda pilot. He is the guy who drove everyone here in his 2017 gray Honda pilot.
You called this man the Honda pilot?
He is the king
And he's
of
your
his
friend?
friend group.
Jeez.
He drives the pilot. Can he pilot this deck to victory? I think everybody's rooting for him
Audience
for
is up here,
sure.
Blake.
What's interesting is what did we do? Did we really make him a player profile?
That we did. Anthony Pham in the top 8, facing again
Right.
Kid Power, Boy Wonder, XP McGee, Brody Spurlock.
Right.
Let's take a look.
And Anthony, he's won a AGE Open before,
Mm-hmm.
so let's bring it home. Let's defend SoCal here
This-
against the #1 dude in the world versus the #1 dude in SoCal.
This is it.
Who wins?
This is Brody Spurlock versus Anthony Pham. Both of them, 2 of the 4 Lexis that made it to the top 8, and they are here to battle in the final of the Battle Hardened Los Angeles. Let's go ahead and
The
get
battle hardest road.
ready. Come on. The road less battled.
The road less battled.
Come on, baby. So let's take a look. Let's talk about what's going to be the difference here. We're looking at Anthony's list and Brody's. Let's talk about the differences. Now,
No battering bolts.
no battering bolts. for
3
Anthony.
battering bolts.
3 battering bolts. I think for my money, I think this might come down to two main differences. Anthony Pham is running 3 Artivores. We'll see if he brings them in for the matchup. He is not running any Ice Quakes, whereas Brody Spurlock not running the Artivores, but is running the Ice Quakes. Both players running 2 Arctic Incarcerations, but I really think perhaps the difference in those ice cards are going to be the story of this matchup. Again, I don't know what they're going to bring in. I don't know what their game plan is against, so to speak, each other or in the mirror. But if for my money, I think disruption could be a large part of who ends up taking this game. Because if both players are just left to their own devices and left to run buck free and buck wild throughout the
I would hate
the
that.
convention center.
Let's get some disruption,
Yeah.
please. I don't want anyone to get buck right now.
So yeah, I mean, I just think that perhaps could be the story of this game, depending on what both players elect to bring in here. But critically, Anthony Pham, as the second seed, is going to elect to get to
Ooh,
choose
that's really cool.
if he wants to go first or second. And
I
you
love
know,
that about these rules.
and you
It
know,
would suck to like, oh, I did a little bit better and not be able to like, and I gotta hope I get it for a dice roll.
this
That'd
is
be
an
great.
exciting finals here at the Battle Hardened Los Angeles. Two Lexis battling through the gauntlet to make it here to the finals. And you know, you'd be surprised. Maybe not you, Blake, because you really
Oh, I
keyed
get
up on
surprised.
all
that's
things
fine.
flesh and blood. But these matchups don't always go swingy. Who gets the first three of a kind? Who gets the Rain Razors? Often, because the cards like three of a kind allow them to block, allow them to play a little more of a mid-range game. These matchups can go a little more back and forth than I think some people might expect.
Right. And I think there's something between a mirror match of like, the mirror match isn't exactly what we're doing whenever it comes to, I'm going to run my game plan. These are both aggressive decks, and now it's like, take it a step back. We're going to play some mid-range. I know you're good at running over people, but what happens when you can both run over people? Can you do your best to stay above ground? What metaphor are we going to use here? Should we use like a boat? No.
Not about okay.
This is the summary. Let's just stay above ground, not get like into a graveyard. Yeah, dude, that submarine thing was crazy.
That was crazy. Took the world by.
None of these people lost twice today, right? Both of these are still only one loss all day long.
Are X1s, I believe.
Good for them. That's pretty hard to do. So you're gonna have to win 9 games if you want to be Battle Hardened champion. When's the last time you won 9 Flesh and Blood games in one day?
Well, yesterday.
Yeah, against my dog, Mimi.
Dang. Well, your dog's no joke. Your dog's cracked.
I don't even have a dog. Oh, okay. So we're gonna. I don't know if they do life totals or we do life totals on this one.
They should be doing life totals.
Oh,
Hopefully
okay.
somebody can head
Somebody's
over
gotta touch
there
a
and
phone soon.
make sure they're doing the life totals. But Brody being put first here by Anthony Pham. So Brody going to now here we go. Here we go again with that back and forth of the Lexi mirror, because anytime you pass priority, perhaps your opponent is going to go ahead and activate the Voltaire and load some arrows. But if they overextend and they load too many arrows and are left without cards in hand, suddenly you can be pushing arrows of your own, getting some damage across if they decide to load their Voltaire too much.
Right. All we're doing is Voltairing an arrow. Let's build a 6-card hand and hope Anthony doesn't have a Command and Conquer.
And here, Anthony not electing to load anything of his own because he doesn't want to give Brody the chance to capitalize, again, on less blocking cards in Anthony's hand. So he's going to go on his own turn and just load and fire a bolt and shot. This is coming in for 5, and it is threatening the reload.
Great. Let's threaten reloads. Let's get ahead. I think, who are you rooting for if you're I'm rooting for Anthony. I don't know. Yeah, it is weird because it's like Anthony's somebody that I've been playing with for 2 years, started both on Brutes, and he went, I'm going to play competitive way, and I went, I'm going to have fun way and complain about everything way. So it is interesting of like, this is what I could have done if I was as good as Anthony and like dedicated to, he's been on Briar, he's been on Kano, he's now first time he's trying Lexi, finals of a Battle Hardened, which
Yeah.
is insane.
Yeah, it's really incredible to see, and coming up against, just an incredibly formidable opponent in Brody Spurlock, who just has been
Right.
taking down events, top 8ing Pro Tours left and right. The first attack did come in for 5, so Brody should be at 35, and then this is a hamstring shot coming in for 6 as we work to get the life totals fix on the screen, which should be happening momentarily. However, this is a hamstring shot for 6. Again, it's not just damage on hit. It would take Brody down to 29, but would also represent an extra resource on his very first attack on the next turn.
Frostbite, technically.
Yeah.
It's like you
Frostbite at home.
you hurt your ankle, and you need to pay 1 more to get it a little better. Brody is taking down everyone that shows up, though. So it is like, this is a final boss. I think this is a very much like, very interesting thing of how good are we for Anthony of, I have beat everybody in my meta multiple times with multiple different heroes. I think he is somebody whenever he goes to Pro Tours and beyond,
maybe he's looking to be somebody who's always in a top 16 forever and ever again, and assert himself as somebody that's like, oh, you don't want to see me in round one of those bigger tournaments.
Absolutely, and he's done so right now, proving himself by making it to the finals of this battle hardened. He's established a bit of a name for himself on the national scene, coming up against Brody Spurlock. So this is going to be, it should be 29-40 here. The hamstring is online.
We're just going to write it on the back of a piece of paper so we can always just kind of have one going. 40 for the Anthony, 29 for the Brody. I wrote it backwards, so it's harder for us to remember.
So activating Lexi here. This is going to go ahead and reveal the Ice Quake and give a Frostbite over there to Anthony Pham. We're going to play the Ice Quake now. Activate Voltaire. This is going to be an endless arrow. Normally there would be only, there'd be 2 floating, or the Ice Quake will cost the 1. So this is going to take up all the pitch off that blue pitch because of the hamstring shot.
Right. We do have people trying to get the phone to work. I think we didn't look at the phone for a whole hour, and the phone was like, I'm tired of this. And just started messing up.
So this is now an endless arrow coming in for, it was 7, now it's 9, and another Frostbite on hit. So that's the thing for the rest of this chain. Attacks that hit are going to do more than just damage. They're going to be representing disruption as well.
31. Okay, we do have life working now.
Yeah, so 2 Frostbites over there for Anthony. It's going to be hard to have much of a turn unless you have something like a 3 of a kind or a way to move through those Frostbites because
here comes another Frostbite if this hits. Or is that how that works? Ice Quake is every time?
Yeah, it's the whole chain. And this Bolton shot now again represents a reload and has go again because of the Rain Razor. So this is a huge return from Brody. He
This
only
must
had
have
to
been
take
why
11.
he took 11. Yeah.
But again, I think if you're Brody, again, you opponent only had 4 cards to start the game. So even though if you're Anthony and you elect to go second, you only have 4 cards to start the game. You only were able to throw 11. Lexi can do so much more than that, but critically they have to have an arsenal to start. And so here, Anthony was able to put his opponent down 11 life, but is now facing back a significantly higher crackback.
Right. Because we haven't even calculated all the health damage over here. 25.
With 3 Frostbites, do we see a 3 of a kind? Not in the hand. This looks like it's going to go ahead and just be blocked out because without any further pitch, there is not going to be any way to load an air without the bullseye bracers.
So first couple turns fast and loose, but we won't have 6-card hands anymore.
Brody going to go ahead and arsenal that last card, draw 4. Now we're going to see what can Anthony do with 3 cards into 3 Frostbites. Tunic's going to go to 2.
Tunic, flip. That's a 3 of a kind. You thought. Now we're just going to get arrows off the top or not at all. So it is kind of scary. Never punished.
Oh yeah.
Are any of those red though?
2 blue cards in hand is able to.
Kind of blue to me.
Yeah. But this is what we were talking about. 3 of a kind is the exact way you can fight through those 3 Frostbites.
Rustling leaves, though. Who cares? We can get a different arrow.
True.
Trade one of those blue arrows into a red arrow. That'd be cool.
That would be cool.
Brody's kind of like, okay, whatever.
Brody Spurlock sitting at 29 to Anthony Pham's 25. This is the finals of the battle-hardened Los Angeles.
Which all these people started at 10 this morning. So have we hit the 12-hour mark yet or not quite? Nope. Almost 12 hours to win the whole thing. With Olden gone, is the Abyssal Quiver going to fall to the wayside? I doubt it. Are they touching health again yet? Drill shot. Put it on the Tunic. You get to have your Tunic the whole game. That's the only thing he'd probably block with, though, because we don't want to use the New Horizons if we don't have to.
A snap take there. That should put Brody down to 27. We're going to go ahead and load again.
Somebody's got to start touching health.
Oh, yeah, they're working on it.
Because I thought it was working for a second. Okay. They just haven't pushed the buttons. They're like, this is the last thing I worry about. I'm trying to win $17,000, or how much is it?
Yeah, I think it's 17. So we did go ahead and activate the quiver there to get one of these arrows in. So this is going to be a red infecting shot.
This is the big one.
This is coming in for 5.
5 plus 2. Give me 2 cards or take 7. 7 is a third of your health, basically. Yeah.
close.
Dude, Yichin said, I am so bored. I'm going to yawn on national TV.
Brody
It's
Spurlock.
very hard to be a head judge. We had another person open up their judge pack.
Yeah, what did they get?
Another Arclight Sentinel.
Yeah, they're
Apparently
just-
they're in every pack these
Yeah,
days.
come on down to Southern California. You can get. There's more than just celebrities here. There's
Angels.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Sentinels.
Wait, is this the City of Angel?
Come on.
That's why there's
That's why.
every single pack is an ALS here because they were doing that for us.
Brody Spurlock facing down this red infecting shot. Every block matters in the finals of a tournament like this. These players have been playing all day. Let's see how they want to navigate this turn here. 5 damage coming in. Need at least 2 cards to block it, unless you want to throw the New Horizons. But that, I'm gonna go out on a limb here. I'm gonna say that that's not the
Not
play. I'm gonna say
gonna
that that's
happen.
not the play.
Taking 5. That's pretty
Anthony
gross.
Remembering his trigger, and we're just gonna arsenal our last card.
Nice. 2 ice cards in Brody's hand. Will we see any of those get played for frostbites? Flip the Searing. Load up another arrow. Doesn't have any floating. Okay. Makes sense. Whoops.
We're going to go ahead and activate Voltaire, pitching the winner's bite. This is now coming in with a red infecting shot.
Are you worried about Blood Rod Pox if you're Lexi, or are you just like, oh, it's Lexi, who cares?
I feel like at this point, perhaps with Ponders off Codex, if you already have redundant cards going into your arsenal, you have a way to pay through it. But most of the time with this deck, you're using all the cards. And if you're not using them, you want to be blocking with them. And if it's an arrow, most likely it blocks 3, and that's more than 2, right? So you're going to want to use it to block if you're not going to use it on your own turn. But these Lexi decks are so effective at using all these cards because they need a card to pitch into the Voltaire, and then these arrows, often they can reload themselves. Often they can draw you more cards.
Right. Pathing Helix, go do whatever.
So this looks like it's going to also just
I'll
be
also take
disrespected.
5+2.
Anthony taking the 5 there. Coming in after that is Brody with a Bolton shot for 4, not threatening the reload. So Anthony just going ahead and taking 9 so far on this turn. Should be
Jeez.
down to 16. And there it is.
clicking,
So
they're
there it
clicking.
is. Both players with the blood rot. Both players deathly ill at this point in this game of Flesh and Blood. Brody's used Voltaire twice, is deciding how he wants to go from here. He's got a Searing Shot face up. Both Lexi has been used and the Voltaire twice. And we're just going to go ahead and drop
Arctic.
3 Frostbites over there onto Anthony Pham. He said, you're keeping all your
That
cards?
sucks, dude. I'm going to do... How much damage was that? That was like 9 damage?
9 damage and 3
then give
frostbites.
you a, basically, I hope you have a blue. But there's a frost lock, so a blue is there. That wasn't what he was planning on paying for, but it helps. What's crazy is that was a big turn, and you're only quote unquote down by 4, so who cares? Flipping the Lexi there to get rid of the frostbite. We're gonna Searing Shot, flip.
Now those are 3 red cards left in his hand. So this is going to be, those 3 Frostbites to even activate your Lexi and turn on your extra arsenal zone.
Kind of sucks. We're gonna use this arrow first, trying to get a block, beta block. If this comes back in hand, you could always use it to pitch for a different arrow.
And Tunic there
Choose to
being
do so.
huge for the Voltaire activation, so you don't have to use one of your cards in your hand to pitch into the Voltaire, right? Being able to throw the endless arrow in that represents basically
Right.
drawing a card, just using your Tunic, it's a great turn to cash it in for the Voltaire after being taxed through those 3 Frostbites.
It is interesting. Brody has a little bit more tablecloth on his side than Anthony does.
What do you think that's about? Favoritism?
I don't. Just probably a little bit warmer, you know. It's kind of cold in here because everybody left, but the air conditioning stayed on.
That's going to take a 2-card block here from Brody, maybe representing a 3 of a kind if he says, I can block with 2 cards, maybe saying, on my turn I can draw 3 more, and it's going to be like, I didn't even block. But now this is just a Searing Shot for 4, meaning no go again, meaning Brody's going to take 5, go down to 15, or it did have go again.
Now here's a blue one.
Yeah, so it would have been 5 without the go again.
Okay, we are just the leading health bars right now.
Yeah, because that Blood Rod's going to take Anthony down to 14, Brody down to 12.
And if we had set a timer, we would know how much it was. But, you know, and we were just so excited.
Why do
for
we
the
even need a
finals.
timer? At
Yeah.
this point, they're on time.
It's
We're
like
going
8 minutes only.
We're starting with the tunic. The tunic is going to go ahead and put in, again, Brody now also cashing in
It's
his
like they're
tunic.
drawing the same cards back to back.
And this is going to be a searing shot 4-4. Coming in here at the finals of the Battle Hardened Los Angeles. Another searing shot 4-4 that represents more life
Wow.
than that. This is going to take the tunic
Is there a
out of
3
Anthony.
of a kind or something?
We're just going to Arsenal. So,
Okay. I feel like everybody's played this kind of matchup where you're just like, we both want to get each other low, and then we're just going to go off.
well, at this
But
point,
premeditate's not going off.
so this will be an infecting shot for 9. Even if Brody takes it
Sheesh.
all, he still would be able to go down to 1 at the end of that turn because
Right.
that's only 2 off the blood rot. So, and then he's going to be playing without an arsenal on his next turn. Brody doesn't have any block available to him on his tunic because of the drill shot from earlier in the game.
Brody is a methodical robot. It almost feels like he's bored. He's going to just say, I don't care. Here's a... Okay, that's nice.
Yeah, we're blocking 3 with, we're blocking 9 with 3 red cards, 2 Falcon Wings, and a Remorseless, ticking up our tunic.
If you're in Simi Valley right now, you're crossing your fingers and saying, I hope this isn't a 3-of-kind in Arsenal.
Oh,
It's a
we're going to go ahead
Codex.
and Codex. So this is going to do some real work here. We're going to be able to go get something like an Endless Arrow.
Codex in the mirror match is nice because it's almost like a blocking card. Oh, all those 4s are now 3s. Great. That sounds great to me. I'll just block with 3s if I need to.
Absolutely. So he went and got a Searing Shot, which is going to represent 5 damage if unblocked, and is now going to allow Anthony to put whatever arrow he wants back into his arsenal before discarding a card. So Brody here, you know, really didn't want to take that blood rot damage, didn't want to take 9. Those were 3 red cards in his hand that he didn't like the way that they were lining up for himself, so he's going to go ahead and send 5 and use the Ponder to set up a 6-card hand and try to probably close the game out very soon after this. He's basically saying to Anthony, can you kill me from 12? Can you take cards out of my hand from 3 cards and a card in your arsenal?
Can he draw Command and Conquer?
That's true.
Fingers crossed.
Did he
in
bring
the
it in?
chat.
This is going to be an Endless Arrow for Anthony back into his arsenal. The Frailty is going to keep it from being a breakpoint on his own turn. However, here is that Searing Shot. Is Anthony going to block it? Does he not? Does he see the writing on the wall in terms of what could happen on his very next turn? Does he feel like he needs to preserve any life here?
I think what was interesting is I was like, oh, maybe you could block with New Horizon, but that was turned off by a Codex putting an arrow in. Of like, oh, it wouldn't be too bad. We're going to take 2 here. Down to 7. Yikes.
And then now here comes the Ponder, which is going to allow for a 6-card hand for Brody on his next turn, as long as he doesn't have to block with anything.
Can
So
Anthony pull it out?
we have that Endless Arrow still in hand, and that looks like a Falcon Wing as well, so not a lot of pitch to begin this turn. We're going to start with the Endless Arrow. This is only going to be for 3, so this is an easy 1-card block for Brody if he wishes it.
Just let me put this back in my hand. I heard Anthony talking earlier against his first match against Brandon, and it was like, and if this hits, I'll put it back in my hand in his normal Anthony Pham voice where it's like, I'm going to ruin your life if you let this hit. I don't know how worried you are if he could just, what else does he have in his hand to do Endless Arrow 3 more times and then survive with just 3 left? Or maybe you block the last one because you don't care and you want to keep as many cards.
Well, yeah, and the rest of the information on this turn is unknown for Brody. He knew about this Endless Arrow. He saw it come after the Codex. And again, how enticing is it being able to block an Endless Arrow for 3?
Right.
How enticing is it
You
to deny
only
that card
get
draw?
punished if there's a Rain Razors.
It's true.
There's always a Rain Razors. Always, always, always a Rain Razors. I would say there's always a Rain Razors in there.
Brody checking that arsenal, seeing what he grabbed off the Ponder.
But, once again, this is an untimed round.
And he's never lost one of those in his life.
We gotta, from now on, top 8 can be timed rounds because Oldham's not here anymore. And if you draw, you both lose.
That doesn't seem like it.
No, that's not fun. Okay, we'll do on-time rounds. This is a long think tank block.
Yeah, this is a big block for Brody here. You know, those 2 cards could be anything. We could be, loading and, getting a card out of our hand to use a Codex. We could be throwing another arrow. But we know that it's a Falcon Wing and an Endless Arrow. So if that Endless Arrow comes in with Go again, now Brody's going to be put in the same place where if he doesn't block that one, then he's taking additional 5. Oh, because you have to use Snapdragons
He's
here.
not blocking it.
And this is going to go right back to hand, because without the go again naturally, this is when the Snapdragons have to be cashed in. Brody going down to 9.
This is the time where you know, okay, there's probably not a Rain Razors, so I could block with 3. But now, what do we have? Double Endless Arrow?
It is, in fact, double Endless Arrow. So once again, though, still just coming in for 3 here because of the frailty. So now we're looking at, once again, you can just block this out if you wish. You pretty much know there's no Endless Arrow. Or, sorry, no Rain Razors.
This has go again, though.
This one does have go again. And, yeah,
Cool.
you definitely know there's...
So we can use the Bullseye Bracers. So basically, the Frailty token is going to block 3 this turn. So if Brody survives with 3 right now, it'd be crazy. Because that would basically be represented by the disease of frailty.
And technically, you know, Brody, this could just be that same Endless Arrow. Brody, you know, there's no way to know that there's a second one yet, because this could just be the same Endless Arrow he got back into his hand. So is he worried about a Codex? Is he worried about something, you know, continuing to apply a frailty to himself, to Brody, and then setting him up with a Ponder, if you're Anthony here. But again, it's so different being able to block an Endless Arrow for 3 instead of 4. You can just throw a card in front of it and stop.
I would do it. If that card said 3 on it, I think it would be pretty fair.
Sure.
Because it would be like you can only use it when you have buffs instead of just willy-nilly and hoping for the best at the end of your turn. Not that cards don't have to be fair. This is Flesh and Blood.
Brody here going to go ahead and just let that card come back into the hand.
Pitch. We don't know if there's another arrow yet. Just kidding. This is for 4 now.
Unless it just has the go again, which it does, so it's still going to be for 3. Because the go again representative, if it hits, he now is able to bullseye bracers it, which means Brody sees the writing on the wall. All right, now I have to block.
Take 6?
Take 6, keep 3 cards.
Yeah, that's interesting. I think there's just decisions that players are making that it's like so hard to like, oh, I get what you're doing here.
We can see a Rain Razor,
so good right now,
which does not block, so might get pitched into this Winter's Bite, which is going to require, I believe, 2. That looks like a yellow. So let's see. Brody took 6 off those Endless Arrows before finally having to block because of the represented lethal off the Bullseye Bracers. So what is going to be either discarded or pitched to this Winter's Bite?
And then he took sips of his water.
Nice. Huge. Huge. Critically for Anthony here, he had the Rain Razors and the 3 of a kind in his hand, but forced out by the disruptive effects of Brody, and this is going to be an Ice Quake in the 3 of a kind. This is a huge turn to potentially take control of the entire battle Hardened.
So what happened this game? We drew some ice on one side, but there is more ice in Brody's.
Yeah, this is what we were talking about.
Kind of like if we are going to be playing the mirror match, because there's 37 Lexis today, I need to have a plan into it.
Well, and kind of what we talked about at the beginning of the game, perhaps the story of this game does come down to those ice cards and the disruption, the ability from Brody to apply just a little bit more interplay between just damage, between here's some Frostbites, here's some taxation effects. That might be enough to put him through into the winner's bracket. So we're blocking here with the New Horizons because this is going to represent another card draw if it comes back to hand. So this is for 7. We still have the Withering Shot in the arsenal to come in. There's only 1 card left for Anthony Pham. What are the 2 cards left for Brody? Can he find enough damage to close it out here, or just take control and take the tempo to close it out on the next turn?
Only 1 arsenal from Anthony for the rest of the game is like, not kill me status, but it is kind of like, oh, geez, like, how are we going to do this? The Rustling Leaves used on Anthony's side, not on Brody's too, so that's always kind of like an extra lingering factor of like, oh crap, what is this going to turn into?
Pitching a Command and Conquer for this Withering Shot. We are able to Snapdragons it if we want to use the Bullseye Bracers, and he is not going to, just electing 2 damage to come through. He's going to set him. They're checking to make sure no arsenal or no reactions need to be used. 2 damage coming through, so that will be a Frailty token, and Brody's just setting himself up for a 5-card hand to potentially try to close this thing out on the next turn, as Anthony just is having to draw back up to 4, pass on back.
He's going to be on the ball the whole time from now on, basically. The only way we get around this is there's just a brick hand with no arrows, but now there's a quiver that makes that not a real thing. Winner's Bite is going to do so much work at the end of this game. Those are the ice cards that are just so punishing of like, this is Intimidate, but you don't get your card back.
Yeah, and that Tunic block early You know, he was able to do it because he wasn't under the drill shot effect like Brody is, but because Anthony had to give up that tunic for the 4 damage arrow earlier in the game, there are no tunic counters to be fed to these winner's bites. These are taking cards every single time.
Right. I think one thing that's probably going through Anthony is like, this is what I've been doing to people all day. I guess neither of these people are going to get karma for, like, oh, geez, Louise,
Here's
immediate
a
3 of a kind.
in a row.
This is
Sheesh,
that's got to be like, okay, great. Like, I have 3 cards to block. You have 9 cards to attack me with. I wonder what the math is on this.
Lexi activation most likely coming next for Brody here. Is this the turn that he closes out the battle hardened Los Angeles, or will it be not as effective, allowing for Anthony to perhaps find a way to claw back into this game?
Tune in to find out. Just kidding. It's going to happen in 5 seconds.
You're already tuned in if you're here. Thanks for watching.
Brody's got it, says Christopher Bishop. It's over, says Taco Time. Just kidding. He said simply draw better. Rain Razors. Can he play Rain Razors? He did.
Yeah, that's from
It
Arsenal.
was from Arsenal? Oh, my goodness.
That's crazy. I mean, that's just crazy. We're seeing a Rain Razors 3 of a kind turn.
So I need to open up a New Horizons from a pack so I can play this deck.
There's we had one of our incredible vendors here and sponsors, Collected Legions, right over there. Just go get a box.
So true.
This is a Pathing Helix, and again, that's a very relevant effect. The reload. This is going to take 2 cards out of Anthony's hand. We're sending a Remorseless in for 7. We're going to block for 3. We're going to take 4. Bullseye Bracers very well is going to start this game. The Bullseye Bracers is going to load in the Searing Shot for 5, taking 6. Anthony Pham falling to Brody Spurlock. Boy Wonder, Kid Power, XP McGee coming here to Los Angeles and taking the crown of the battle-hardened champion for his very own.
We threw Orange County at this dude. We threw El Monte at this dude. We threw Pasadena at this dude. He said, I don't care. I've been all around the world, man. You're going to have to speak some other language to beat me, man. English? No chance.
Brody Spurlock.
That's 3 wins in a like Saturday, Sunday, Saturday.
Brody Spurlock coming in, adding to what is already such an incredible resume here at the Battle Hardened Los Angeles, taking down the whole tournament. And, you know, the dude probably needs a PTI, honestly. He hasn't.
Oh,
probably
man.
doesn't have enough
yeah,
probably doesn't have enough PTI.
There's one for his mom. There's one for his dad. He's probably got a brother and a sister. They can have one of those. Who knows? It's so crazy. I think what's interesting about our lovely SoCal people is we've got another 2nd place at a Battle Hardened for our community. And, like, we got 2nd place last time, or not that Brian Moss isn't part of SoCal.
World Championship, 2nd place?
2nd place there. We're just so good at getting 2nd, where it's like, damn, like, beat LA. Like, I was going to try and do this all day, and now it's just sad, you know?
What an incredible
But
tournament.
how can you do Brody with your hand?
That's true. Try.
No way. No shot, B. No, because it just turns into that one thing where you're just like, oh my gosh. We'll see if he opens up his card. Who knows? We're going to have a quick interview with the winner. That'll be Sam doing that because I got to go cry in the back.
Understood.
I was hoping Anthony would pull it out, but that's unbiased commentary, you guys. It's not going to happen at AGE, you know?
Hey,
we like to be part of the whole experience here.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much for tuning in for an incredible day of Flesh and Blood games. Don't go anywhere because we are going to have Brody Spurlock himself here for a quick little interview before we say goodnight for the evening. Hear his thoughts on the day, his thoughts on the matchups, and what he thinks about the meta going forward. So we'll be back in just a couple minutes, and we'll see you soon.
I got to click short break.
Let's do it. Welcome back, everyone, for the last and final time here to the battle-hardened Los Angeles. We have the winner himself, Kid Power, Boy Wonder, XP McGee, Brody Spurlock is here. I've been calling you that all day. He is here as the winner. Firstly, how you doing, man? Congratulations.
I'm good. How are you?
I'm pretty good. It's been a long day. You were just saying.
Yeah. I had so many intense games of Fab today, like really long. My quarters game it was on stream, right, versus the Oldham. That was like intense. The end game was weird, but yeah, tons of fun. I had so much fun today.
So intense, meaning you had really good opponents.
Yes.
Meaning the California players really came to play.
Honestly, I felt like my opponents were really strong. Yeah.
Look at that. Everybody in the chat bad-mouthing California. I don't know what we ever did to you except for the law that makes all the things. It's always like, this has been known to the state of California to cut. Yeah, we apologize for that.
I felt like my finals opponent was playing really, really well.
Yeah, Anthony Pham. He's kind of a local legend here in the scene. Been playing a lot. But talk to me about, you were playing Oldham back at the most recent Battle Hardened. You're playing Lexi Day. What made you bring that to this tournament? You know, this was your last chance to play Oldham, and you elected not to. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, so I was flip-flopping a lot. This morning I brought both decks and both deck lists with me.
Wow.
I really do want to play Oldham just because it's kind of a last chance to.
Yeah.
I mean, like you said, one last ride, which maybe I'll do that tomorrow at the PTI event. But I honestly just all in all feel more comfortable on Lexi. I feel like it's like slightly better into the field, like just more likely to win games.
Sure.
So ultimately, I've had this choice before, like right before Chain and Starvo LL'd at a ProQuest. I felt better about Starvo for winning the event, but I really just wanted to play Chain one last time, so I played Chain.
Sure.
And then I fittingly lost in the finals to Starvo.
Nice.
So, but today I just decided that I felt like Lexi was the better deck, and I just wanted to play the better deck.
For sure. Yeah, and hey, I think it worked out for you. It seems like you did all right.
I do not regret it.
Yeah. So looking forward, moving into Dust Till Dawn, what are you excited to be playing? I asked you this a couple times last time we were on stream together, but hey, now you're the winner. Now there's even more clout attached to your name. So looking forward to Dust Till Dawn. What are you excited about? What are you sniffing that? What are you sniffing out in the meta?
So I was a big Chain fan, so I'm primarily really excited to see what Vincent looks like. I'm a Runeblade guy in general, so super excited for that. But then also Fino's tweets have been getting me kind of hyped for Prism.
Dude, I know.
Like, yeah. Clearly there's like some spice there.
Yep.
He's been like, because I know people were kind of not super hyped about the new weapon. They weren't really sure like how it's going to work. And it sounds like maybe Fino's seen something that means Prism's going to be really good.
Yeah, so I got excited to see as the spoiler season begins to ramp up here. But any final thoughts on the day? Any shout outs you want to give to the people at home? We got dinner reservations. You're welcome to come if you want. We're all going to go hang out. But any final shouts? Anything you want to say?
Shout out to my mom. She's here with me.
As always.
Shout out to my team, the Wolfpack. I think this is the first event since I joined the Wolfpack where I'm the only one here. So
and look at that.
Showed up for the team.
Took it all down. And that's good for the Wolfpack. The Wolfpack, they're a really up-and-coming team in Flesh and Blood. Haven't won a lot of events, so it's really cool of you to put their name on the map like that. That's really awesome. They haven't won anything. But once again, congratulations, Mr. Spurlock.
Thanks, Sam.
Thank you for coming in. From all of us here at the Battle Hardened Los Angeles, thank you so much for hanging out. Thank you to our sponsors, Fabric, Collector Legion, Savage Lands News, for all of your incredible support. And Brody, where should they stay tuned tomorrow for the AG Open event? Where should they stay tuned?
Stay tuned here, right here, for the PTI event tomorrow. I'll be playing. There'll be other people playing. It'll be great.
You heard it. You heard the man. He's the winner of a Battle Hardened. You have to listen to him.
You cannot leave.
You
stay
can't
all night.
Stay all. Oh my God. Okay.
Well, okay. Sam needs a break. Come back in the morning.
Incredible.
Come back in the morning for more great action.
You heard the champ himself. So thank you all so much for hanging out. We had so much fun. It was a long day, but we're looking forward to another incredible day of Flesh and Blood tomorrow, right here, same channel. Don't go anywhere. But we will be seeing you momentarily in a couple hours. Thank you so much. We'll see you soon.